Welcome to the final part of Big Think Dimension Game of the Year 2020. You've worked so hard to get this far, unless you skip to this part, in which case you cheated the game and yourself. We have the full crew. We've got KZ.
Hello.
We've got Mr. Feel.
Hello.
And we got Bob.
Hi, guys.
From GigaBoots. And I'm your host, Dan Video Games. We are here to decide what the best games of the year are. And before we have to come together to make one collaborative list, we will each get a top 10. It is always hard to decide who goes first here.
Not it.
Damn. 25%.
Well, I went first last time.
25% of the yes, actually he did. 25% of my options are gone now. You know what? We'll open strong. We'll open with Feel. Mr. Feel.
Okay.
Break it down. Take me from 10 to number 1.
Okay. Mr. Feel's Game of the Year number 10.
Yes! I'm gonna do it just like that, too. Fucking Watch Mojo looking ass.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, okay.
Ghost of Tsushima is a great open world game. Especially since I played it on a PS4 Pro, and it was still a great game.
Yes.
Because it's from the before time.
Yeah.
It looks great. It runs pretty well. Loads insanely fast for the PS4.
PS5?
Like even...
Oh, no. For the PS4, as in...
Yeah.
Faster than any other game on that. Yeah, that's true.
Significantly.
It's so good, in fact, that when they announced that they were getting the faster load times on the PS5, they're like, they were already great. Now they're greater.
Where they're like, you already didn't give a shit about our load times.
Yeah.
Now there are none.
It has a really nice loop where like every place you do has something for you, even if it's just like, here's resources for you to upgrade your stuff. The combat was acceptable for one of these open world games and had some really funny stuff, like just being like, oh, you're a big guy. I don't want to fight you. I'm just going to shoot you with a fire arrow and watch you flail around and scream.
It's not very honorable, though.
Or the final boss where I'm just like, I'm just going to throw 5 sticky bombs at you. What are you going to do then? Nothing.
or you go, oh shit, this was the guy. I forgot. This was a normal fight. I didn't know he showed up.
It's like, oh, you can't block my sword if it's on fire. It sets you on fire and you scream and lose the capacity for self-defense.
Yeah.
How sad for you that I came into this fight with 5 sticky bombs, 5 normal bombs, and 3 oil flasks for my sword.
Mercy.
You know how I prepared for this day, you motherfucker? Pulls out a flamethrower.
So yeah, didn't get any higher than this because, I thought it was just like a strong 8.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. We're going to go to number 9. Tony Hawk 1+2.
Word.
Tony Hawk is great. These are a great version of Tony Hawk 1 and 2. And now that they fixed how it was wrong with a patch, so you can actually play the game more than once.
Yeah.
It's even better.
You could also like reset too. So like you play with like Tony Hawk and you're going through his classic. They're like, would you like to reset it so you can just play as Tony Hawk again on all the goals?
That's like the most insane thing that just wasn't in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's wrong with them?
I don't know. It's very bizarre.
Now all they need to do, and maybe they have, because I haven't checked up on it in like 3 months, is fix the multiplayer.
They have private lobbies now, though we haven't checked that out. Aside from that, the only other deficiency I can think of is the gaps, and like you can't make good custom named gaps in your create a park, and I'm like, that's the excitement, that's the fun. Right.
Oh, how's that guy going to propose to his fiance now, or propose to his girlfriend now?
I don't fucking know.
I wish the multiplayer was normal. Because my understanding is they have private lobbies now, but it's still that.
It's
random games that just occur while you're free skating. And I'm like, I just want a thing where we just pick the game and then it starts.
Yeah, that sounds a lot more sane. That's what the experience was closer to on 4 and Underground, which came out by my measure 10 million years ago.
Like, this happens to me every time where I get hyped up about a specific thing I want to do in a game, and it's like, nah, it's not there at all. You can't do that. I don't know why you thought you could.
So if I were to guess, Mr. Fields number 8 is probably
The last
Call of Duty, right?
Number 8. Resident Evil 3.
Ah.
A lot of people complained that it wasn't as good as Resident Evil 2. I liked it more because it was more like an action game. And it's condensed size.
an hour and a half.
Yeah, 45 minutes long. It made it a lot smoother to just be like, oh, I'm just going to play it again right now.
Yeah.
Plus, it has that really great point system where you can get stuff.
Yes, the unlockable shop is incredible.
That needs to be in every fucking one of these forever.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Really strong New Game Plus potential in that compared to, like, all of them.
It's so well thought out because, like, if you buy the inventory upgrades, they're not inside the box, so you can use them if you're doing a don't open the box run.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty smart. And plus it looks great. It looks fucking fantastic. There's a lot of funny bits with Carlos, like him trying to open the door and doing a Duke Nukem voice, because I think that's what a doctor sounds like.
It's a really great moment.
Or just Jill going, dumb bitch can't even swim.
Yep.
Yup.
Also, the fact that the railgun at the end now just looks like the PS5.
Yeah, you put it in the charging station.
Oh my goodness.
Just rammed the PS5 into its mouth.
Take the fucking hit, and it's just going.
And then it's like, oh, this has Eternal Ring on it. That's pretty great.
Oh.
Maybe I'll play that, and then it blows like. So, now with that out of the way, it's time for number 7. Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Okay. That makes sense. It's Yakuza 7. It should be 7th.
Oh man, that does work.
That game has good RPG mechanics, although they definitely need it's definitely clear that this is their first shot. The new area, because it takes place primarily in an entirely new city, which is like the biggest one they've ever made. Maybe too big. It probably wouldn't have been so bad if I hadn't played the game for 40 hours before I figured out you could fast travel from your phone.
Oh.
And didn't have to walk to a taxi to fast travel. Because that's how it worked in the 6 prior games. You couldn't fast travel from a menu. You had to walk to a taxi. And you could use that to go to a different taxi point. But in this game, you can just call it from your phone. It has a lot of great stuff writing-wise, because like there's a little bit of it in Yakuza 1, because Kiryu's in jail for 10 years at the start of Yakuza 1. So there's a little bit of, what the fuck's a flip phone? But in Yakuza 7, he's in there for 18 years. So you get this scene of him being like, what the fuck's that? And it's like somebody on a cell phone, a smartphone. And he's like, is that a cigarette? And it's somebody vaping with this huge thing that looks nothing like a cigarette. And it has stuff like that, and him not knowing what a taco is. because they were, they just weren't a thing in Japan in 2002. But yeah, it's great. Has a very different tone from the other games in terms of how invincible the protagonist feels, which is not at all versus entirely. I mentioned it on a big thing to mention, but it's nice where it's like an enormous guy with a sledgehammer shows up and everybody goes, "Oh fuck." that dude's like 7 feet tall. Unlike when Kiryu was the protagonist, wherein that guy would already be dead.
Throw him into an oncoming train.
Has a really great dub. Kaiji Tang does a great job as Ichiban. Everybody does a really great job. They really need to fix the shit that was still present in Judgment, where it's like, we're just not gonna. No, not that thing. It's like we're not going to voice. We're going to voice as we're going to not dub as much as we possibly can, which is ridiculous. It's insane to talk to somebody in a cutscene. They have a full English voice. Then it cuts to the not a cutscene mode, and they say an entire Japanese sentence to you with an entirely different voice.
Big Tales of Vesperia energy.
But yeah, it's good. I can't spoil it, so I can't say that much more about it. They need to emulate a more modern RPG next time instead of Dragon Quest II.
No, it's just like Mega Man. That was the best one.
Stop that.
Okay, so number 6.
Air horns.
Hades. Hades is really great. It controls well. It looks really nice. It has endless amounts of funny dialogue.
Yes.
It's good enough that even though it feels like it doesn't have like the thing that like Binding of Isaac, which is my usual go-to for something like this, has, where it's like, oh, you just got the upgrade to let you win. It doesn't have anything that powerful, but all the Hades is really well balanced in the sense that the thing I think that is balanced more poorly in making you strong is something like Binding of Isaac, where you can, like, okay, you got the thing that lets you shoot nukes out of your face. You've now won the game.
And Binding of Isaac also has here's a power-up. We won't tell you what it is. You have to go to a wiki to find out what it does, because we just have flavor text. It's really bad.
You have to understand, you have to either memorize what every single upgrade is by sight, and there's like 400. Or you have to install an add-on that will tell you what it does when you see it.
I stopped playing by the time they actually did that. You just do it based on visual, and also so many of them just ruin your run. They're just bad items.
Yeah, there's none of those in Hades.
Yeah,
there's nothing
thankfully.
That's like you now have to control your head and your body separately.
Yeah, you get upgrades that are weak and maybe not good, but there's nothing like that where it's just, oh, it's over.
Your attack now does 1 damage, but shoots 700 times a second, but only goes 2 inches. But it's also not balanced in the way in like Enter the Gungeon is, where the reason I fell out of Enter the Gungeon is that you always feel weak. So Hades threads that needle where, like, plus the fact that you can choose what you fucking want makes it so much better. And all the character designs are really good. The dialogue is funny. It's just all around a very stellar game. And then you have Hades saying something about how his child has bad vibes, so of course he abandons them.
Finally, a teachable moment.
Yeah, Hades is like, no, I'm not going to show you how to use the can opener. Number 5.
How do I forget every time?
Trails of Cold Steel 4. I thought that was a fantastic conclusion to 15 years of games. A lot of people were really ragging on it. Those people are insane. you either have to be joyless or way up your own ass to be harsh on this, I think, because it is one of the funniest games I've played in a long time. At least to me. Maybe I'm laughing at all the wrong things.
Possible.
It sounds like it. I can feel it.
But whatever. If it makes me laugh, it makes me laugh.
But I also feel like I will also laugh at those things when I play.
It feels like there's only like 30% of the things I'm howling at I'm maybe not supposed to be howling at. But even then the dub voice acting comes off like I'm supposed to be howling at it. So I'm going to howl at it. It's just that thing in your brain where it's like all these things that were in your head for 15 years you get to scratch out now because they're done. It's like, okay, I beat up that guy. I learned entirely what this person's deal was. I learned what this is and this is and this is. That's so much room that's so much stuff that I can just delete now.
That final Ava film needs to come out and get the US release.
Yes, it's very similar to that, where it's like the demons are gone. They're purged.
Yeah, you said something on Big Think that blew my mind about it because I never considered it, where you're like, in every other game you fight a really powerful Organization 13 member guy. And then they go, I was just holding back. And in this game, they fall down.
Yeah, in this game, they're like, oh, fuck, and fall down and pass out. Except for one guy where the conclusion to his fight might be the single funniest thing I have ever seen in a game. Where what happens just made me cover my face and scream.
Oh, no.
Also, it has fucking incredible music. Like, it's just banger after banger. Plus, the protagonist is really pathetic in this one. Like, he wasn't exactly a Chad in the first three. But it feels like it's really ramped up his pathetic factor in this one. Where he's just getting pushed around the entire time. Or he'll, like, try to say something, and one of your party members for the past few games will cut him off and just be like, shut up! We know what you're gonna say. It's gonna be stupid. Shut up. Sit down.
I played 2 of those and I'm like, oh god, yeah, I know what he's gonna say. It is gonna be stupid.
So yeah, great. I think it's probably my favorite one of those 4 games. Which means number 4. Final Fantasy VII Remake. I really like Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think it looks great and sounds great. I think its combat system is interesting. I keep meaning to investigate it further beyond just playing through it, but no, not until I put on my clown shoes and pay $70 for next gen version.
Yeah, God. Not until I do my next rent payment for Midgar.
It honestly, it would be higher, but the game has so many technical things that drive me up a fucking wall. Where it's like, the squeeze throughs alone cost this game like at least 1 rank. Because there's just so many and they're so long.
My favorite thing, right, is when we get that next gen version, there's going to be a lore reason you get through the squeeze throughs faster. It's going to be like, oh, they're all lubricated.
I think we talked about this before, where Cloud just oiled up.
Yes. Just remove them. Just pull them out. Oh, just be like, oh, that beam didn't fall there this time.
Suddenly, Tifa's really good at monkey bars.
Yeah. Also just stuff that like the JPEG sky, which is in 2 separate, relatively lengthy sections of the game.
Yeah.
And of course, the door
where you can see the seam.
Yeah. The part where it's a JPEG background with a fire effect over it, and even on my PS4 vanilla, I'm like, that looks terrible.
Yeah.
Like, it's low enough resolution for anyone who can't put this together. It's low enough resolution that it has the best chance possible of making that blur. And yet, even on my PS4 vanilla, I'm like, oh man, come on.
Also, if you run across a city too fast, you'll get to the place where nobody's textures has loaded yet.
My favorite thing is when I run across, that hub that the beginning of the game has, and you run up to a shopkeep and you try to talk to him, and he just gives you a cold stare for like 15 seconds.
Not yet. I'm sorry.
Please, few games this year have needed an upgrade more.
Yeah, I think it would be really great if they did an upgrade. I literally waited this entire year for even a single patch, and they put out one patch to make it run on the PS5, but that's it.
Please, just I'll give up my humanity and just buy it again.
Phil just walks into the store on all fours.
This is what you want, right?
He really is Feel 13.
I just walk in and they're like, here, and they give me the stone mask. I'm like, okay. Number 3. Genshin Impact.
Oh fuck, I forgot.
I checked my time played. It's not as bad as I thought.
Okay.
It's only 160 hours.
Oh, that's all.
That's
Hey, that game came out in September?
Did it?
I think it did.
Yeah, that sounds
September
about right.
28th.
Okay.
So basically
All right.
3 months. So
that's pretty good, all things considered.
yeah, especially since the first couple days when I was exploring everything, I played it quite a lot. And then it only became like, 20 minutes a day every single day.
That's all.
But it's one of these free-to-play games that is actually a game. And the goal of wringing money out of you feels less omnipresent than in a lot of them. Because it really, especially now that they patched it, so if you fully upgrade a character, like they have 6 upgrade pips. And it's like on the first, when you have 0 pips, your max level's 20. When you have 1 pip, your max level's 40. When you have 2 pips, your max level's 50. It goes up to 90. Especially since they changed it, so if you get a character to 6 pips, they just give you 3 of the tokens where you need 10 to do a 10 pull. So, like in that recent patch, I'm like, oh, they gave me just 40.
Lord, you've gotten that many characters to max level?
Oh, no, I don't have any characters to max level yet because I can only get up to 5 pips right now.
Okay.
But the third one they give to you on your 5th pip.
Oh, all right.
But yeah, I had a bunch of characters at like the 3rd pip, and that means 2. But I like the combat is fun. It has just enough to okay, juggle them. Okay, it has like that trick gun sword trick shit going on a little bit. Where it's like, okay, you can't hit them before they hit the ground with this, so switch to your wind twink and make the whirlwind under them so they shoot up into the air. Plus, it has a lot of the stuff I liked about Breath of the Wild without some of the stuff that made me want to kill myself every time it came up in Breath of the Wild. Like, it's raining. You can now no longer climb anything. When will it stop raining? We don't know.
God,
you
like
better
the lightning storms.
You better start a fire and wait by it. Oh, it's raining. The campfire has to be under ceiling or else it instantly goes out.
I hate you because you reminded me of the dude who thought lightning storms because they, if you have a metal thing equipped, that'll shock you. So the person threw out every piece of metal equipment assuming that that's how that worked.
But yeah, like it really is like an MMO to me, but it's so much less oppressive than the other MMOs I have previously played. Because with like WoW would want like 2 hours of your time a day. Or else my brain disease where it's like I'm wasting things. Cause that's how it goes. That's how the insanity goes. I have to explain the insanity real quickly. In an MMO, you get to max level and you get to do dailies, which do something. I don't know what they do in Final Fantasy 14. In World of Warcraft, they were usually to improve your reputation with a faction.
And 14, it was tickets, basically. You get tombstones that you build up weekly, and there's a gap, and you do that to get gear.
Yeah. And the disease in my brain goes, you wasted that daily if you don't do it. You can't take a day off.
I have a couple friends like that, and each time people go, "You're crazy." They're like, "Yeah, I know."
That's what it's designed to do, so I can't even blame you.
But Genshin Impact is like, just fight a boss 4 times. It takes like 2. At this point, I've gotten to it down to where I can kill the boss in 90 seconds without being hit. Which is good because I have to fight that specific boss 30 times. I don't mean I have fought them 30 times or you will fight them 30 times. I mean I have to fight them 30 times in the near future.
Look forward to it.
Because I need 60 of an item that they drop 2 to 3 times when you beat them.
Maybe.
No, that is another thing. When something drops shit in Genshin Impact, it drops 100% of the time.
Okay. It's not like I played Kingdom Hearts 1. It's like the Dark Ball will drop this crystal 1.1%.
No, it is always. The only things that maybe don't drop shit are the tiniest shitty little enemies won't drop their arrows or their masks 100% of the time. But every major enemy will drop at least some stuff you need every time. And that's another part of the reason that this feeds my brain so well.
It's just massaging it.
Yes.
Rubbing all your folds.
There's so many meters I can make go up.
I'm proud of you.
But yeah, that's number 3, so it's time for number 2. Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal is like an insanely huge upgrade over Doom 2016. It has fantastic music and all the guns are incredible and the enemies are great and the levels are fantastic. I can't gush enough about it. Plus the story stuff is all either cool or really funny.
Yes. He is Doom.
Even if I have still refused to learn how to fight marauders. Which is I'm going to stand at middle range and shoot you with the super shotgun when you try to hit me. I am not going to attempt to dodge any of your attacks. I'm just going to hope you die first.
Yeah, anytime I see someone do it really fast and well, I get angry. Like the people that just go, knock him up, and then they switch to 4 weapons and shoot all of them within the span of 2 seconds, and he's dead immediately. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
go to jail. Go to jail.
I got as advanced as setting up my weapons so I could be like super shotgun. Okay, now I have the big crossbow thing and shoot him with that. That's
where I'm at too. Just the ballista super shotgun really quickly.
And then with the DLCs, which feel like an additional half of a game that is already a sequel.
Yes.
Not as big a jump as the actual sequel, 2016 to this. But like the next Assassin's Creed game won't be this big of an upgrade over Valhalla. And that's going to come out 2 years from now.
It's just if the game never stopped.
But finally, it's time for Mr. Fields' Game of the Year. 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim.
Who could have seen this guy?
No way.
I had to decide on whether Doom or this was number 1 for a long time.
It's not easy.
No.
I kept switching them back and forth, and I'm like, Doom is great. Like, it's stellar. But 13 Sentinels is like a wholly new thing. And it looks incredible and has great music. And has official, big thing to mention, Character of the Year Toby Kizrak.
And second place and third place.
and second place and third place. And one of our picks on the best animal you can pet. And I think one of our picks for the worst character of the year.
Yes.
Did one of them make it on for best companion? I can't remember.
Yes, Yakisoba.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, there you go.
I think BJ was also on it.
And BJ was in the running, yes, and may have been in the top 3. I have to reference the document. We recorded this pretty far apart from the other part.
Yeah, we did.
For safety.
I have it open. I'm going to look right now.
For safety, indeed. Jesus Christ.
It's like, fact check me. Look at all the other things it won. That's why it's up here with
Okay, no, it did not. BJ did not make the top 3. I think our top 3 was And I think lemon with cheerwine.
That's right, you.
A truly great set of characters.
Yes.
Honestly, I start seizing up when you mention Adler.
He's so good.
There's no winners here. You just pulled us into the losers column with you.
I'm just thinking about Big Rock.
But yeah, 13 Sentinels is truly a transcendent experience. I guess since it technically came out before the PS5 came out, I can call it one of the best games of that generation.
Yes. Just like Dragon's Crown is like the best game on the Vita.
We were all kind of cruel to this game on Big Think Dimension every time it would come up.
Yeah, you're like, hopefully they make their next thing that's a real game people will play.
Yeah, it wasn't like we weren't down on like the story possibilities, but we all thought that like something happened and you just didn't get to make the game you wanted to make.
Yeah, because they never showed the gameplay, and then when they finally do, it's the most unbelievably reductive art style possible, and seems so unimportant in the way they present it. And I mean, even when people do play it, they're like, I set it for easy. I get frustrated when I have to do the gameplay. I'm like, oh my God.
And then, and you know, we had those jokes, but they're giving out a copy of Princess Crown with it, so at least you get a game.
Right.
Yeah.
Still sad we didn't get that in the US.
Yeah, it's because you forget that they don't just make action games over there, because even in interviews, they're like, yeah, we wanted to, do another Grim Grimoire type of thing where it's like,
Yeah,
more
but the last time they did that, it was really bad because it was Grim Grimoire.
It was Grim Grimoire, so it was really bad. I mean, the gameplay in 13 Sentinels is a lot better than Grim Grimoire.
And
I guess it is sort of the same.
None of the
just
stories,
in a very different perspective.
Yeah, none of the stories they've done have been anywhere near this level. So expecting them to just come out with an incredible story for this was not expected.
It feels like a combination of all the stuff for all their previous games, where it's like, okay, it's like Odin Sphere, where you have 5 multiple characters that have interconnecting stories. We also have the time travel shit from Grim Grimoire, where there's time loops. So yeah, just thoroughly stellar. I think it won't be by the time you hear this, so never fucking mind. I was gonna say it's on sale on PSN, and it's like, no, you're gonna hear this in 3 weeks. So it won't
buy
be.
it anyway, because
buy it anyway.
When I saw that they said globally we've sold 300,000, and I got angry.
Yeah.
That's how it be, but they definitely need more.
Okay, well, that's a pretty solid fucking list.
Yeah,
yep, that's the official Mr. Feel Game of the Year list.
To run it down from top to bottom, again, for anyone with attention span issues, 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim is number 1, Doom Eternal's number 2, Genshin Impact's number 3, Final Fantasy 7 Remake's number 4, Trails of Cold Steel is number 5, Hades number 6, Yakuza Like a 7 is number 7, Resident Evil 3 is an 8, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 is number 9, and Ghost of Tsushima is number 10.
That's the list.
That's Mr. Feel's list. I think it's time to move on.
Woo!
Bob.
Sure.
We're going to move on to you.
All right.
Starting at number 10.
I did something a little illegal here. I did a runners-up.
Wait a what? Okay, fine. I'll allow it.
I really wanted to talk about Xenoblade a little bit because it doesn't get to my top 10, but I think that this is a great way to play it. It's the only reason I really enjoyed turning on my Switch this year.
This year was rough for Nintendo. Like we had the joke last year of most disappointment, the 2019 Switch exclusives, and this year was like, where is everyone?
Yeah, there weren't exclusives. There was Animal Crossing, then this, and then nothing.
Yeah, the Animal Crossing is the real juggernaut for Nintendo for sure. That thing sold approximately 1 copy for every U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
Whenever we have this mode where we're like, oh yeah, the real hype stuff's coming, Clubhouse Games.
Clubhouse is pretty cool.
It's great.
Clubhouse would probably have gotten on my list if it had more sane multiplayer and multiplayer for more games.
Yeah.
Not enough Ludo.
But yeah, this version.
Yeah.
This version of Xenoblade is really nice. It actually gives you quest markers. That's right.
Yes, I don't have to keep a fucking Google document open up. Okay, this character who stands here has a quest.
Yeah.
Nothing will tell you that this character has this quest.
That's one of the reasons I just stopped playing the original. I didn't like the combat, and then that on top of it was like, okay, just no. But getting
also,
a chance,
their faces move now.
yes, their faces being remade is great. But yeah, it's cool to see an RPG like this where it feels like a really complete package. Like it goes to insane lengths you expect from a PS1 game, not of a Wii generation game.
Yes. Where you're like, yeah, it won't stop.
It was like it was like the only RPG that felt like that entire gen, because 7th gen was so bad.
Yeah. So I definitely suggest picking that up. But here's my actual top 10 list.
Number 10.
Streets of Rage 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I like this one a lot. It might be one of the best beat 'em up games ever made.
Wow.
This is correct.
It's got immaculate art.
I need to buy it.
Really fun combos. Tons of characters to play as. I can't really ask much more of this game. Really good soundtrack too. Yeah, I really like trying to do runs on it. I kind of wish that they even made like a truncated mode or something to be like, okay, this is the version, the arcade mode where you're supposed to beat it in an hour, because it feels like the whole game is even longer, which of course it's good. Like all the levels are good. There's only some that feel a little like short.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I definitely want that on the list.
I would have had a stroke if Xenoblade knocked this out of the top 10.
Yeah.
I find myself thinking about that a lot, of just like, I want as many games as possible to just have a side mode that like cuts as many of the gimmick and fat stuff out so that I can just run through it fast. I feel like also Resident Evil 3 being pretty short also made that happen too.
Yeah, Resident Evil 3 is real good for that.
Yeah, we're getting to that.
Yep.
But first, number 9. Hades. I just had a lot of fun with this one. I kept, like, a lot of my list is just, it's been reshuffled so many times. There are goods and bads to all of these games near the bottom, and all the way up to number 5, I think. So yeah, that's
tell me about Hades, your experience.
Yes.
What do you like about it?
I also really enjoyed just doing runs on it, because it's early on, for way too long, honestly, it does feel like the random chance nature of it can really defeat you, and you feel like, okay, I just had a bad draw that time.
Yeah.
And then that pairs with my need to try new things, even when I know they don't sound like a good idea. Especially when it had those things of like, hey, we'll give you a bonus if you try it. It's like, I'll have to now. I'm going to keep doing this thing I know is bad. And
like this power-up seems bad, but it's got the prophecy icon on it, so I have to.
Yes. There's so many runs have been ruined by me just doing that. But that it pulls me back to try again after that by having new story things happen each time you get back to the hub, and fun characters, and always having more things to unlock. Like, I still feel like I'm 30 plus hours into the game, and there's a row of items I haven't even unlocked yet. Like, I don't know how to unlock them.
Yeah.
And I know that each weapon has yet another power level to unlock. It really...
It's weird, like, Dark Souls-esque stuff with these secret hidden aspects of weapons.
Yeah, those secret aspects of weapons, just trying to unlock even more. It's like, okay, I always have this thing to equip, so I could talk to Artemis at least once. And it's like, you're gonna give me the upgrade now, right? She's like, no, never.
Sorry.
But yeah, that's why it's not super high on the list, mainly because of that beginning where it feels like the random chance really gets to you. But eventually you can upgrade things like in the tower, the mirror, to be like, okay, now you will get more of this kind of power up, and this kind of power up will be a higher rarity grade, so it'll just be better. It's like,
yes,
that helps a lot. Now I can actually find hammers frequently instead of like once a run.
Yeah, you get the hammer that makes the gun fun to use.
Yeah. Let's see. Number, what are we on? 8.
I'm gonna pass out.
It's already this bad, huh?
Call of Duty.
You got to say the full title.
Black Ops Cold War.
Thank you.
Rise of Adler.
Yes. I had trouble placing this on my list. It was for a long time sitting at number 10. Because I was like, but I just don't like the single player content. I feel like a lot of the missions are really weak. But Adler's great, and some of the missions are amazing. And Adler is really good.
and Adler.
Yeah, no, it gave us Adler, and then the multiplayer. This is the first time I've prestiged in a Call of Duty in a long time.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah, the
Jesus.
multiplayer's real
Jeez,
good.
You played a lot.
Yeah, no, it's been a thing where like, okay, I'm going to boot it up and play like an hour, like every other day.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. They're just constantly unlocking stuff. The new way they have to set up your weapons is great. Like, it's the best they've ever done with your weapon unlocks, where you have like 6 different attachments or so, and you have to mix and match them to try and get the best loadout that you want. Like, oh yeah, this one, I know that I use the rifle in a way where I need the bigger magazine, not the one that reloads faster. Or I need to get this laser on my pistol so it can shoot better from the hip. And just endless little customization of things you're unlocking.
You know, I feel it's worth noting, at least, you know, potentially in other lists, Call of Duty, you're talking about the PS5 version. Now, it's entirely possible without the adaptive triggers making you feel like a total badass. This could be below Hades. Who knows?
It's possible. I don't know.
We wouldn't know.
Also, they keep selling me Adler skins because they know.
Yeah, though they're like, hey, you want more Adler skins? And you're like, shh. Yes.
What if
This
he was
skin-
a 1970s detective? Like, yes.
This Adler
Okay.
skin is the same, but he's always smirking.
This one's literally made of stone.
Oh, God. They need to get to that
would
one.
be good.
It would be incredible.
They did Cowboy Adler already. They have to.
You're gonna make me fucking buy this game.
It is really good, weirdly enough. I super enjoy it.
Yeah, I bought the season pass for it, or battle pass for it, which is the first time I bought a battle pass, I think, for anything.
Wow.
This game really got you.
Yeah, no, this is the best of Call of Duty has been in a long time, which says a lot, because last year I said that too.
Yeah,
You did.
They did 2 really good years in a row.
I really don't know if they can do this again.
There's no way.
Right?
Which is great because you had very little hope behind this one where you're like, oh,
yeah.
sounds like this one's gonna be bad.
I mean, he didn't pick it up until he saw me, you know, playing it and stuff and talking about how good it feels. You know, because, like, worth bringing up, the console version now has 120 frames per second mode.
Yeah.
Which makes it feel really good. And then on top of that, you have the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers.
And they even added field of view adjustment for the console.
Yeah. And if you really want, you can use a mouse and keyboard. I don't know what sort of crazy person, my brother, would do that. But
yeah, Call of Duty is like the least necessary for that for shooters are. I really, like, if we get that next gen Doom update, let me use mouse and keyboard, please.
that would be great. Yeah.
That would be like just a killer app.
Yeah.
I would feel so much better with that game.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Number 7. Ghost of Tsushima.
You're not very honorable.
This one was higher on my list, but then I went back and played it and was like, I really don't like the mission structure in this game much because it almost always starts with ride this horse with your friend for like
Hear
3
them
minutes.
talk.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of lore and universe stuff you're getting introduced to. So the first time around, it's at all interesting.
Right.
More than once, and you want to like carve your eyes out with a spoon, I imagine.
Ride
Yeah,
the horse. Listen to Ishikawa tell you about women.
No, those are the good. Those are the good ones.
Yeah.
Stop at the gas station so Ishikawa can get the tiny bottle of scotch. Keep riding.
But yeah,
Stop at Wendy's.
Go into the hot tub and think I should drown people.
mainly Ishikawa, but I shouldn't tell him. But yeah, and then almost all the side stories have a really grim ending to them. So it's just like, well, I know what's going to happen. It's going to be the worst thing possible. Like, you need to give me some of them that aren't that.
There was one that was hilarious where you come back and she's like, I lied. And then Jin's like,
Yeah,
you
that's what I was
dude,
thinking of.
I just killed a bunch of people because you lied about them stealing food. And she's like, oh. And then
Sorry, Uwu.
Then you walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the funniest one in the whole fucking game.
But the reason it's so high is because I really enjoy the level, or like the actual playing the game. It's fun to ride around the horse, just exploring, like doing the call outs to enemy officers to do a duel, to sneaking around the villages really gave me a Tenchu vibe of like, okay, I need to sneak in here and kill everyone. There's no one gets out and they can't see me.
No one gets out.
And that's always fun. It felt pretty good in this game. It could feel better, but it felt pretty good. Like, it's probably the best open world stealth game has felt. No. So, but and then there's some genuinely fun parts to the story too. Like, the main villain is great. Ryuzo is the ultimate cock.
That's a Danganronpa character.
Yeah.
Super high school level cuck.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I definitely suggest picking it up if you haven't. In number 6, Tony Hawk 1 and 2. Yeah, it was great to play a Tony Hawk game again. It's been so long, and this feels like Tony Hawk should feel. Something I can't say about any games in the last decade.
Thank you, Robomoto.
Well, there was only the one.
I
One of
know.
those two.
Yeah, there were two.
There were multiple guys. He said the last decade there are games that just barely squeezed in there.
God, probably the ride games. Yeah.
Yeah, you get
Hawk
HD 5. Yeah, you get Ride or whatever.
No, Ride.
Ride and
2019.
Shred.
No, 2009.
Okay, Shred then.
Yeah, I was like, Ride or Shred made it in the last 10 years. Just barely. Yep, Shred counts. I'm counting it.
But yeah, that's really amazing. Playing Crew 1 and 2 are really solid games. It feels like the only disappointment here is not having a new game. But that's hopefully what this is a stepping stone for. Well, that and, the multiplayer stuff being totally borked.
And hopefully they do 3.
Yeah, hopefully they do 3.
I would like a 3 DLC, thank you.
Yeah, that'd be really great.
Because whereas later games don't really fit into the same envelope or structure as this one does, 3 absolutely does. So they should do 3 as a DLC.
Yeah, have a music pack with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be really good stuff.
it'd be smart.
Also, it's fun to see all those new skaters and the old ones like scanned in their modern selves. So it's really nice to see old Tony Hawk.
It's 53-year-old Tony Hawk.
This series has to go on long enough for us to get melting Bam.
Oh, no.
No, we don't need Bam back unless he cleans up his act completely.
Yeah, that would be great.
Then
That's
I'd
a
be
tall order. What are you doing?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, no, it is.
It's basically impossible.
Yeah, I know. Why are you making it so hard?
That's why I'm saying it probably shouldn't happen unless the impossible is achieved, like Skate 4.
Yeah. Also, the maps, the way they like change some of them, like the mall, I think is really clever and cool. Where it's just like, this is an abandoned mall now.
Yes, where it's dilapidated.
I didn't even,
Dilapidated, wildlife just growing everywhere.
part of me didn't even think about it being dilapidated because of the modern era. It was just like, well,
That's how a mall looks now.
That's how it looked in that game because it looked so rough. And there were copies of Die Hard. Or not Die Hard, whatever that game was. Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So it was very thematic. Yeah, no, how good this game looks is crazy. Like, how much work they did in every one of these stages is really nice. Just think about how that first warehouse even looks.
Yeah.
My mind was kind of blown at how good downtown looks. Just the city streets
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts.
And the cars that seemingly are way too fucking fast.
Yes.
and then they taunt you when they hit you.
God, I had a bit of a moment there because I tried to erase downtown from my memory.
Because of that one jump. It's like jump off the rooftop and land on this rail.
Yeah, some of the gaps are really fun.
For considerations, certain goals in certain maps like downtown really hurt it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But it's still Tony Hawk, and I still love it.
Yes.
Number 5. Nioh 2. I have a lot of fun with the combat in this. I think they improved it a lot from the previous game. The new like counter dodge move that can interrupt certain enemy attacks is really fun. Yes. It really, really nails something they need, that combat system, which you can, before you could, perfect parry and card things that were like regular attacks, but stronger attacks, you're just, well, no, that's going to hit you.
It's going to do its big anime attack at you now. And you counter it right, and then they fall on their ass.
Yeah, and then you can do like a super counter move where you, like in the demon form I chose, he does like this bizarre like jumping cartwheel thing where he slashes them a lot and then stabs them into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's cool. The only misgivings I have about this game are the last like couple missions where it gets incredibly stupid. That and a little bit
like that's in its favor.
Yeah, a lot of the story beats are just really lame. I think that's the biggest downgrade there is in this game. It's nowhere near the story of the first game, where that was following a character, like a historical figure in his journey, and making that insane and involve fighting John D. In this one, It's like you're an unnamed dude that you get to make, and he's an alias for this other historical figure. But not really, because that other historical figure is actually around, and you just help him out. So you're really just like his, like,
you two hold the title. It's what they tried to.
The two of you are make Hideyoshi. It's like, okay, that just means I'm lame, and he actually gets to be a person. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff they've done with the combat. My favorite of the Souls-like games, easily, just because of how much combat depth there is, how many different weapons there are. They improved the weapons that were already there. Like the sword feels way more fleshed out than in the first game, which was already the best weapon in the first game. And then they've added new things like the fist that were added in the DLC, the hand throwing axes, which are actually really cool. I didn't expect them to be at all, but they were very neat. And they fully fleshed out the nunchucks, or not nunchucks, the tonfa as well. So it really good set of weapons, even more enemies this time around, so you don't feel like you're fighting the same enemies from the beginning to the end. And tons of bosses. Just really surprising how many bosses they put in this game. Only a couple of them really bad.
Like this house.
Yeah, the house. God. Hideyoshi's wife. The house. Number 4. Astrobot.
Oh.
Astrobot is a really, really delightful game. I loved every minute of this. The only complaint is there could be more.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid complaint to finish a thing and be like, why isn't there more?
Yeah. Why isn't there 8 more speedrun tracks for us to ruin our lives playing?
Oh, that'd be good. But really, I want more normal stages, but speedrun tracks would be really great too.
Just to be clear, the name of the game is Astro's Playroom.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Astro's Playroom.
Yeah.
Is there a subtitle to it?
No.
Okay.
If there is, it's probably more like a marketing tagline.
Right. But yeah, this is a free packing game with the PS5, so get that PS5.
So hitting number 4 is pretty strong for a free game.
Yeah, that one of the best free packing games ever. I think of other good packing games like, well, he pays for that, like Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, I've never played a pack-in game for 15 hours before.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I guess Super Nintendo's used to come with Super Mario All-Stars.
Okay, that was a pretty good one, but even then I'm like, oh yeah, I already played these games down in the ass.
Come with Mario 64.
Yeah, but now they're good because they're Super Mario All-Stars.
No. They want you to buy that shit separately. At launch, nothing came with the N64. And then further down the line, I'm pretty sure they wanted you to buy that shit separately because, it's the N64. They know you don't have many games to buy, so they sure as shit want to sell you that one.
Yeah, I was like, I think I got
They
mine a
have
year
to.
late. It did not come with that.
Yeah, Astro's is pretty incredible.
Yeah, for people to know, it's like this amazing homage of PlayStation history, along with just being a delightful platform that shows you all the features of the DualSense.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3. 13 Sentinels. Aegis Rim. It's a great game. We talked about it a lot on this podcast series so far.
That's true.
I don't
Indeed.
know we need to say any more. It's got great characters, amazing art, and a story that's ludicrous and constantly wrapping back into itself. And I kind of enjoy the gameplay too. That's why it's number 3 and not number 1. If the gameplay was also just immaculate, then it would go up higher. But yeah, I know. I really love this game.
That's kind of fucked up. If the gameplay was immaculate.
Well, I guess we need to get to number 2. Doom Eternal.
Oh, okay.
The gameplay is pretty immaculate there.
That's true.
Yeah, you are correct.
But yeah,
I think I have exactly 0 qualms about the gameplay in that game.
yeah. Even going back to it, the only hindrance was what we're playing it on the PS4 Pro. Just being like, oh god, it's screaming.
Bob didn't have space on his PS5, and he didn't want to reinstall the whole thing as well, so
no.
he played it on his Pro.
Yeah, it was tragic.
He booted it up, and his Pro immediately starts going, "Ee!" And I'm like, what is that sound?
It's called the TIE Fighter.
But yeah, it's a really fun game. Really enjoy the new setup that almost makes it feel like you go into Quake maps.
Yes.
Where you're just like doing insane combat arenas constantly. I kind of wish there was a mode where it's just a bunch of those in a row. Because some of the sometimes when it wants to be an old PC game, it's a little rough. I'm like, okay, what do I need to find to do to unlock this next area?
Yeah, that wasn't great, but by and large, I enjoy the level design. But yeah, it really has those moments.
Yeah.
Like the underground water stuff.
Yes, that water segment was probably the worst of those moments. Other levels had some of it, but it felt a little bit more reasonable.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all the guns are really
Even
fun
the
to use.
DLC has that, but it's like so short and not a problem.
Then it doesn't sound like that.
Yeah, it's like, you're gonna swim. Swim forward. Get that item. All right, you're done.
Yeah, we're not talking about swimming in general, Casey. We're talking about doing a weird
Lower
water
the
level
water,
pet
do
puzzle.
this, raise the water.
Don't drown.
Figure out that hitting this icon allows this jet stream to pick up here, so you shoot through that to activate blank. It was weird. This is a
God,
very
I blocked that out.
Yeah.
I was like, that clearly doesn't exist. He must just talk about swimming, I guess.
It's I really like being able to swing on bars. I think that's a fun new mechanic they've added.
yeah, it's awesome.
All right. Number 1, my game of the year.
Bob,
Oh, shit.
game of the year.
Resident Evil 3.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie, my brain just caught up as you were about to say it, and I went, oh shit, it's gonna be that!
I've done a lot of runs on this game.
Psychotic amount.
Yeah, no, I enjoy it immensely. Even when it decides that it should just be a bad game at the end of the hardest difficulty. Where it's like, oh yeah,
I love it even when it sucks ass.
this guy, you need to be absolutely perfect or you're dead. I'm like, okay, I'll deal with it. Only because it'll give me a trophy.
The game is really incredible. Just the unlock shop and all the other stuff in it, you know?
Yeah, having
And visually, it's fucking immaculate.
yeah, no, playing this on the PS5, it doesn't drop any frames. It's just always at 60. Feels really nice. Loads quick. You got the quick dodge stuff is a lot of fun. Like I always make fun of the dodge and then you're in slow-mo and can hit the enemy thing that Bayonetta and a ton of Platinum games started doing. But here it feels fresh because it's a shooter where you're very much like weak in general.
Yeah.
So it feels really good to be like, okay, you get this and they're dead.
Yeah.
You get them really good. And then that unlock shop getting you things like infinite ammo assault rifle.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of fun. The only thing that would make this better is if you could shoot the enemy and then kick them in the face. So whenever they get around to remaking 4, it will be the best game.
I'm really worried that you are correct, and it will be the best game. And now for another 10 years, people will be like, this isn't as good as Resident Evil 4.
Yes. That would be a really problem.
Yeah, it's going to be an issue.
Resident Evil 4 is undefeated.
Twice.
Maybe take out the Egyptian tomb that is somehow, for some reason, in rural Spain.
I don't know.
But otherwise perfect.
Here's a turn lever. Shoot it.
The Egyptian tomb needs to be there, just a little shorter. But we need the insanity that is it being there.
God.
I spent you killed everybody I have that had a name. So I'm going to send the weird scorpion monster at you to fight you in an insane cage hovering over a void.
I keep thinking that's in a different game because I'm like, that doesn't fit. That must have been in 5 or something.
You just go under the ground. It's there with no explanation and is 20 minutes long, and then you're done.
Yeah, I know. God.
Yeah, no, that was insane.
What did that game have? Everything.
God, that was really something cut from a different game. Man. But yeah, this is also like the perfect length for just doing a run. So I can sit down and be like, okay, this run will be over in 2 hours if I'm good. And then I'm not good. So it's 4 hours later. I'm like, come on. Why isn't this working?
You gotta miss that final quick time event thing.
I can't. I would be so sad if I made it through the insane final boss and then died to that. I would just be livid.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
I forgot it would throw you back.
Yeah, because you don't, like, you get autosaves in other difficulties, not in that difficulty. No autosave.
No.
So that's it. That's my number 1.
Okay, well, to run it back down again from top to bottom, Bob's number 1 is Resident Evil 3. Number 2, Doom Eternal. Number 3, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. Number 4, Astro's Playroom. Number 5, Nioh 2. Number 6, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Number 7, Ghost of Tsushima. Number 8, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Number 9, Hades. And number 10, Streets of Rage 4 with runner-up Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition!
What's it on, Dan?
Oh, it's on Switch Edition!
Yeah!
I love when it's on the Switch edition.
We'll go to KZ next for his top 10.
All right. I had also written down something small here to start in the form of runner-ups, but it's more of just honorable mentions. You did not make the list, but I just wanted to say a couple words about you. Number 1, the game that was going to probably, in my mind, I was like, this will clearly hit number 5 on my list. Didn't make it at all. Demon's Souls Remake.
Okay.
But the man-eaters.
Unfortunately, they remade it, but made it too accurate. It's just a fucking PS3 game. But it looks good. So unfortunately, it does not deserve it.
This game didn't make anyone's list.
Oh no! Yes, not making any list. I knew it.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, unfortunately not. Also not hitting my list, Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. It might have had a chance if they treated the Kingdom Hearts 3 soundtrack with any amount of respect at all. Also, if the multiplayer was not made so badly.
Mm-hmm.
No friend lobbies. You can only do ranked with people. People are like, I just got to lose a bunch and then I can play with you. And I went, I'm just not going to play the multiplayer. Instead, you don't need to jump onto that grenade for me. And the other thing that didn't hit, and then we'll go into the top 10. Tony Hawk 1+2. I like this game a lot, but there are a lot of problems I have with some of the main campaign and goals and some of the levels. A bit rough. That downtown get every gap was getting me straight up just like angry. and just how much not fun I was having in it.
Yeah.
Then I think getting one of the like stat points in Downhill Jam was just rough.
Well, what about doing inverting yourself 180 degrees so the bottom of your board touches the underside of a wire so you can grind on it?
Yes, that too, and also the multiplayer being one of the hugest disappointments. In the same way Kingdom Hearts is, where I'm just like, you are not at all doing what I want, and I had an idea of what I wanted before this came out, and it's been dashed.
Yeah, but it's a shame.
Those are my honorable mentions.
I was literally upset over how bad the online multiplayer was.
Because we're like, the only way to do this is for us to get Parsec and for you to get the PC version.
Ugh.
Like, yeah, it's literally the only way to like play that normally, and then you still have to play it local where the game's performance kind of goes insane.
Yeah.
All right, let me give you a top 10. Number 10. Astro's Playroom. This pack-in title for the PS5. It is immaculate as a platformer. It's very simple in the amount of controls and mechanics that it has going on. But all the levels are filled with so much like reverence for the PlayStation brand and like all the games that came on those systems and those peripherals, not just first party, because there's so many references from Final Fantasy to Monster Hunter to Silent Hill to there's a Vib Ribbon thing in there.
Every single thing in the entire universe is in there except Legend of Dragoon somehow.
Sometimes you have to be shot. But yeah, you just go in there and you go, I didn't know I liked PlayStation's like brand very much. And then you play it, I'm like, oh yeah, that. Oh, the Magic Gate PS2 memory cards. This is dope. This is in such detail. This is absurd. The first collectible I get is from a gachapon machine, and it's a PSP Go. Yeah, it gives one of the greatest first impressions to a console I've ever seen in terms of the things it's doing with the controller, and just being a solid game that doesn't feel like some half-baked tech demo or something like that. The speed run levels are great. Not the biggest fan of the vehicle-based ones, except when I watched you guys on Facecam doing the monkey one. That is hilarious. It justifies its existence.
Monkey Boat's great.
It's good. This could have gone higher up on my list. It could probably go a slot up on my list every time it had an additional level. But unfortunately, there's just not enough there for me. If this was like big prestige platformer with like a bunch of worlds, it's like Nintendo isn't the only one that can make like superb 3D platforming stuff. This was great.
Yeah.
Please make another one.
Please.
Or just make Ape Escape.
Yeah, that would also be great.
Totally acceptable.
Mm-hmm. You just more joy condensed in software.
Apes will escape? Maybe.
Whatever you guessed Housemarque was making a AAA Sony game, anything can happen.
Gotta believe.
Yeah. Moving into number 9, Ghost of Tsushima. This was a fun open world game. It was great coming off of other Sony first party titles to jump into another one a month later with Ghost of Tsushima that I enjoyed from top to bottom. It is gorgeous. It already looked like a next-gen game on a PS4. The environments were just stunning. I really liked the stuff they did with the photo mode, which was superb. Once I got into the combat, I really liked it. Just the fact that there's no lock on. You're kind of adapting to there being 10 dudes around you, and you're like throwing a bomb to that one. You're doing like some traditional sword combat. I think some of the stance stuff is a bit weak in terms of what they're looking for there and reminding me through the tooltip over and over again. But I did like the gadgets and the various stuff like that and stealth. stuff. And then eventually you get that ghost devil trigger mode where it becomes a black and white movie and you become the serial killer. I liked that a lot. But it doesn't go much higher because of like has already been said, the mission structure.
Mm-hmm.
It's good that first time, but when you're going through it again, it really is just kind of, they want you to soak in the environment and soak in the dialogue, and I don't feel like that. I feel like it suffers a bit on the second run, and I don't like the game enough for it to like hold. Where it's like,
yeah.
If the gameplay was like a couple notches better and the whole experience, I would probably be okay with slower parts like that, but it doesn't squeak by. But I still think it's cool. Also, the soundtrack, really, really nice. I enjoyed a good couple of themes in there. Moving on to, that would be number 8, Spider-Man Miles Morales.
You lied to me, Miles.
Yeah, you lied to me. Okay, that's why it's here. Overall, I like the gameplay of this a lot. They did a lot to Miles' kit and just how you play as the Spider-Man this time. That was really exciting to me. The Venom attacks just really add to it.
Yeah, they feel really cool.
Yeah, just swinging around. You have such personality, all the animations and stuff. They went insane with some of that stuff. It looks gorgeous. I like most of the villains in this. Most of the villains I fought, I enjoyed. I think the story most of the time is all right. Some parts a little rough, but I think I'm a bit on the more positive side with it. I just, in general, it has its own vibe compared to the original that I think helps it stand out a bit. Its soundtrack has much more of an identity than the original one, which felt like it was teetering a little bit more on generic hero. This has a style to it that sticks in my head a lot more. And general quality of life improvements. Stuff like you can have that app to do side quests, and that's how you initiate them. You don't swing around the city waiting for them to randomly spawn. Oh, you swung into a different district at the wrong time. The crime is now spawning over there.
It's really rough how they they said arrest Spider-Man for entrapment, though.
Oh, God. Why are you going to shoot me in the middle of game of the year like this? But yeah, that's it. I like this a lot. It's great. Also, 60 FPS Spider-Man is a religious experience. Just feels great. Let's see. So 7. I believe we're at 7. That's going to go to Nioh 2. This is the only Souls-like on the list. I like Nioh 2 a lot. It feels similar to Doom Eternal in that there is a large jump in quality of its gameplay from its previous game. When it comes to that cool dodge mechanic you have, the additional meter to use various yokai abilities really adds something where you're beating up these enemies and then you can just summon them or turn into them, is really satisfying. Especially like the boss ones where it's I'm just gonna throw a giant snake and its hitbox its hitbox is a train. So even after they nerfed it, it still confused the shit out of every enemy it hit.
Yeah, it's a shame that they changed it hits on every single frame and will loop around 5 times.
Now it only hits them like twice if you get him in a corner, which is still a lot.
Yeah, I played a more agile ninja style character, so I had the like the yokai transformation for that. So I got the additional super dodge as my main thing, which boy does that make that game a lot more manageable. Where it's like I can really get in and out of some situations. There's something so satisfying when you go into a boss fight and it's like you're gonna fight a solo humanoid dude. All right. I'm going to pull out a hand cannon because you don't initiate until I get close. And then I'm going to pop you with it. You're going to collapse in pain. And then I get to do another crit. And then the fight starts and you've lost 1/8 of your health. There's a lot of
and then you hit
stuff
and they hit me once and I die.
Yes, because I'm playing an agile character with light armor. So that does in fact happen.
And then I sing about this on like other Souls is, oh, if I die, I respawn like at a reasonable lengths away from this. It only take me like 10 seconds to get back usually.
Yeah, there's basically no bad boss run in this entire thing. And the fact that your abilities, like your ninja stuff, if you pick that, is a resource you get every time you come back to life. It feels great that it's like, I've respawned. I have 5 power pills, 80 different projectiles I can throw, some poison, some stun. I have like this entire kit of things that I can do. And it gets stronger as I use it more. So I feel like in something like Hades, you're dying, but you gained experience. You've gained like some permanent proficiency in a thing. So you will do better next time. So that stuff really helped contribute to it. Its story is very middling throughout, but at the end, it's insanely bad, which is good. So, like, I can't believe the bravery you had to torpedo it like that. Good job, guys. Anyway, that's number 7, Nioh 2. Jumping in to number 6, Resident Evil 3 Remake. I enjoyed this a lot. I played it right as it unlocked because I coming off of RE2, which I adored. I was really excited to play this because I had not played these original games. So it was extra fresh for me. And I liked it a lot. Overall, its length is fine. On repeat playthroughs, I kind of wish you could do without like the early part where it's kind of a bit on rails, that you can't skip a bunch of scenes in it. I kind of just wish there was like a more streamlined mode where you're in, let's just get started. But all the new game plus shop stuff, so you can continue to have these new runs with more stuff, is great. I would have liked if they just retained at least one extra section in that game where Nemesis was still like a dude who will just pop up and like cause you problems instead of being the set piece boss before he just becomes a stupid monster. I would have wanted at least one more area where he's kind of causing problems and stuff.
Did you play on the higher difficulties? Because I don't want another area like that.
Well, I'm not crazy, dude. I'm not gonna play it on those higher difficulties.
I'm like, oh, thank God that part's over.
He's like, okay, from that perspective, I can understand it. But from a casual, I'm going to play this on normal over and over again. Would have liked at least one more of those, since now it's kind of like Nemesis. Nemesis is really just like Mr. X is really Nemesis at this point. But overall, this was great. If this is what a B team effort is, man, a lot of game studios need a B team this good, because this was glorious. The writing and general quippiness of this was so good. It's so funny, and just playing a game at launch like that in one sitting, and I'm just like, this is so good. This is so solid. I'm excited for what this team does next, with rumors of them maybe doing RE4. So that's my bottom 5. So here's the we're at the top 5 now. Now this is the definition of a buzzer beater, of just coming in almost at the last second. Number 5, Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Oh wow.
Which I played this week.
I wish I could have played it this week.
Unfortunately, Xbox.
My reasoning was, I saw people going, man, this thing got snubbed. This game is great. And I was like, you know what? I'll investigate it because it was on sale for $15. I will investigate this because I'm on Steam anyway. And this is really good. This is a fantastic 2D platformer, Metroidvania style game. Pretty simple like premise and stuff. It's like this giant spirit tree ends up dying, and then the darkness starts taking over, including an incredibly heinously ugly bird that's has a skeleton on the outside, and its arms are like these weird like pillar stilts, and it's called like Shriek. And it's horrifying. And your whole thing is you're traveling across the map, getting upgrades, unlocking brand new abilities, getting stronger, trying to reunite with your little owl friend. And I I don't remember combat being a big thing in the first one. I didn't play enough of the first one at all to get a good feel. But this one definitely leans in on some decent combat. You get a bunch of different weapons, like a little butterfly that becomes like a sentry. You have like an energy sword, and you have a bunch of different moves that you can map to the face buttons, like the top 3 face buttons. And they all feel pretty satisfying. It actually has some really cool bosses in it that just feel good to actually fight with. Some good exploration. The music really contributes to the overall game because it gives this vibe alongside the insanely good visuals where I'm like, how's this game on Unity? Just insanely good visuals and a music that really gives that vibe of this is like children's movie from a long time ago, where it's like it's whimsical and beautiful, but also horrifying sometimes because you reach the zone that has a spider in it.
Yes, 80s movies.
Yes, yes. It's got a nice emotional core into it. I reached toward the end of it and actually went back and picked up a bunch of the HP and like magic upgrades and stuff. That felt pretty good. Last section gave me real big Indivisible vibes from the end of that game, where it's just long platforming challenges before you like do the final boss and encounter, and that was really satisfying. Overall, the controls really good, visuals great. I don't really have much bad to say about it. Just really good, and I recommend people pick that up if you at all like that type of game. Time for number 4, 13 Sentinels. This game's great.
Whoa.
Yeah, the shock in the world. This was rough, all right? Things moved a lot up here. Oh, boy, did they. 13 Sentinels. Incredible story. Really, really, really ambitious when you're looking at the sheer amount of characters you're playing as, the fact that they all intersect, but they don't repeat scenes almost ever. I can maybe count on one hand when that happens. And one of the times that happens, it's really cool why. why they would do that one again. I like most, if not all, the characters. The story is just really good. It feels like it's taking every sci-fi story ever made and just like slamming them together, and it like works real well. I enjoy the gameplay overall. Like, I enjoyed it. I also enjoyed the streak system that it has in it, where if you play a mission with the same person twice, their brain overloads and they can't play anymore for one match. So you kind of have to strategize when you're going through the waves if you want to keep that streak to go, all right, I got to save this person for the 5th match or the 10th match because that's when the boss encounter happens. So I can't use them then because then I get more points, and that helps a lot. And overall, I think that works well. I don't think the gameplay is incredible, but I think it's fun, and I did get some enjoyment out of it. And the soundtrack, great. The visuals, most beautiful game I've ever seen. It is, they kept showing me new areas and new rooms and new sets, and I went, wow. It's like you keep knocking me on my ass. Like you go into Amaguchi's like apartment room, and I'm like, this is insane.
It's dense.
No wonder this game took so long. Look at how beautiful this is. But yeah, that's 13 Sentinels, a game you've heard about.
A little bit.
A couple of times. Number 3, a game you've heard about, Doom Eternal. This is without question my favorite first-person game of all time. It's my favorite first-person shooter. It is immaculate in its gunplay. They figured out the thing that they wanted people to do, which is to switch guns constantly. That's their way, they described it, of finding the fun, and I totally understand it, and I love it. All the weapons are really fun. The resource management is exciting. It makes all the fights really thrilling. I played it, for the most part, on ultra violence, and it was, oh boy, it was rough, and that was a good thing. The story is goofy as hell, but that's kind of what I wanted. It has this, like, insane, like insane cartoonish vibe to it the whole time that just really worked for me. But overall, the gameplay is just on another level. I adored everything about just like playing through that. I even played some of the master level stuff in that, which is too much, but I enjoy it. You kind of do one that's based on the third level, and they're like, yeah, there's a cyber demon there now, and all those other crazy enemies, and it's crazy. But yeah, that's my number 3.
All right.
Number 2, Hades. I took to this game really, really hard. I haven't played too many roguelites, but I did play a bunch of Binding of Isaac years ago, got really into that. This takes every concept that I like in theory about Binding of Isaac, but attaches it to a much better game overall.
Oh, yeah.
Where I don't really care about Zelda dungeon twin stick shooting at all. What I more care about is going through rooms and beating stuff up and then fighting bosses and doing like 4 like rounds of that, 4 like levels, and just being done and then making choices. And this does that. You know, you're going in, you have 6 different weapons you can go in, each with their own variants. You're making choices to pick these different boons, getting different combos, getting rewarded for them. With a really good soundtrack, really good visuals. The storytelling in this is fantastic. Last night, I actually hit credits on this game, so I actually did finish it.
Nice.
There's an epilogue, but I got the ending, which requires you to beat the game 10 times. Get 10 runs, because the story, you get a little bit more story each time, and each time I'm like, I have to do it again right now. And that was great. The voice acting is also stupendous. It is hilarious because I'm pretty sure like 80% of the voice cast in this are just the developers, just doing multiple voices. I don't think I've ever gotten a repeated line. That's also kind of nuts because I played this game for 50 hours. Yeah, the combat's great because eventually you'll find a weapon variant that you'll really like. It's like, I don't like the bow, but I found a bow that's like when you shoot it, a marker appears on the enemy, and now if you hit your special, instead of being a spread of arrows across the screen in like a big cone, they just seek. They just immediately seek and pinpoint the enemy. And then I had fun with that. Or the shield that makes you throw it, and it becomes an orbital shield that spins around. And you can still do a physical attack with a second shield, which makes no sense, but all it meant was the enemy was in hell, surrounded by things. And the fact that it's a roguelite that you're constantly getting better and unlocking new things to make the runs easier is great. Where it's like, at the end, I'm fishing constantly, because then I can turn the fish in afterward to the cook, and he gives me items, and I've put in so much darkness into this mirror to make it so that most of the time I'm always getting epic tiered stuff all the time. I had a run where it's like, you get the duo boon, where 2 gods combine to give you a broken thing, and I got 3 of those by the end of the second area. And it just feels, it gets
Small
really
loan
nuts.
of $1 million.
Yeah, it just at the end when it's just like, okay, now my gun has infinite ammo, it seeks in on enemies. I now have a support fire thing where my body secretes additional bullets that come out of me as I'm shooting, and my cast now fires twice per shot. And it's just, it gets really satisfying of getting really strong, but nothing seems like too overly broken, because the game also has the heat system after you've beaten it, where you can put conditions on it. And one of them is straight up, give everyone a new phase. And I'm like, how crazy is that? And then one of them is you go to the third area in that, Elysium, and you fight 2 bosses. And they're like, what will we do to do with the shield and the spear? Give him a mobile chariot and 2 miniguns. And he just has the fucking bullet like jacket, the big X around him with both. He's like, look at this. This is crazy. Yeah, this game's just fantastic. I did not expect to like it as much as I do, but I can't stop playing it. It's so good. That brings us to number 1, Final Fantasy VII Remake. I was anticipating this game ever since it was announced, and it finally came out, and boy, did it really hit hard. I've never liked these characters more than I do now, thanks to the chemistry that they develop through the writing in the game. All the dialogue as you're like playing through it is just so good. Their decision to have them just constantly like talking during like boss fights really paid off, for this, where I'm just like, this is wonderful, just seeing them bounce back and forth. They, at first, it seemed like they were going for more of a Kingdom Hearts style combat system, but then you play it and it's like, no, this is a much slower paced, more like tactical RPG, and I'm glad they went for that type of thing. There's also something really satisfying about doing a stupid attack in that game, or like some weird like flip kick in the air and then hitting tactical mode and you're watching it happen in slow motion. And I just let it sit, and I'm like, fucking, you're upside down. You're upside down like 15 feet in the air doing something wacky. I like this a lot. They also like solve the problem, I feel like, in some RPGs where sometimes your early weapons get outdated, where you have a weapon upgrade system here where their main thing is use it a bunch because they each have their own skill, and then you can upgrade them through their like sphere grid tree. So at the end, the Buster Sword's still good, but there's still also these other really good weapons. And I enjoyed that. I platinumed the game, beat like the super boss and everything, so I really like the combat system. I think everyone in there is super fun to play. Barrett's lower than everyone else, though. They need to fucking work on Barrett a little bit.
Just a bit.
It's cute that they gave him a melee weapon type, but
yeah.
I don't. Yeah, it's funny in some of the arenas you do where it's like a few dudes you're fighting, because then you're like, he's just gonna kill them instantly with it and like suplex them. But in anything that actually expects a true skill in it, it's like, oh, he's fucked.
I don't know. I thought it was funny how you can still use the shooting moves with those.
Okay, that is funny. Yeah, they're like, well, we can't get rid of half of his major skills, like shooting an energy ball. Well, I guess he shoots a beam now out of a bowling ball with spikes on it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that gave me a stroke when I did that.
Yes. I enjoyed a lot of the like world building and the side quest stuff in this quite a bit, especially when it just becomes a Yakuza game, in some of the wall market stuff and some of the end game side quest stuff. They're just like, there's a behemoth in here. It's some deep cut Dirge Cerberus reference. Soundtrack's great. It's like my soundtrack at the Gen. Loved it a lot. The fact that bosses go through phases, so the music gets to be a bit more dynamic, really adds to those and punctuates those moments even harder. But yeah, it felt good to play a AAA Final Fantasy game where I didn't feel the money run out. Where I'm like, okay, it's time for the final chapters. Oh, the money went up. That's cool.
Oh, check this out. You're going to be a huge fan of Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns.
You know, I want them to finally port those so I can truly see that dog on an OLED.
KZ, just buy a Series X.
Exactly.
The money can't run out.
Right.
It was never there.
Exactly, Bob. There's no moment in that game where you go, the money ran out now.
I really did spend a good chunk of the end of 7 Remake going, when's the money gonna run out? And then I hit Shinra Tower and went, holy fuck.
Yeah, don't run out.
Yeah, it really didn't, but I was super satisfied with it. I liked the story stuff a lot. I enjoyed.
I got worried. About the money running out when you're climbing up to Shinra Tower and you're going through the worst looking area in that game by a fucking country mile.
Yeah, with the worst JPEG background imaginable.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the fucking secret Hojo lab.
No. I'm talking about the fucking climb the broken building.
You see, that one's funny because I in general like the environment and the sky, but you look down, and then you see the city, and I'm like, I guess I just won't look down. They're too afraid to look down like I am, for different reasons, though. But yeah, I would play it more often, but I know they're just gonna suit it up and make it even better, and it's like, I'll play it 10 more times when they do that there. I just played it a little more recently to remind myself, yeah, this is dope. That's my list.
Running that back down, KZ's top 10 games of 2020 are Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades in second place, Doom Eternal in third, 13 Sentinels, the Aegis Rim in fourth, Ori and the Will of the Wisps in fifth, Resident Evil 3 in sixth, Nioh 2 in seventh, Spider-Man Miles Morales in 8th. Ghost of Tsushima in 9th. And Astro's Playroom in 10th. Gentlemen, I'm very... Oh, what's up?
I'm sorry. It's so good. I'm like, you know what? I had to play Ori also because I'm like, I gotta do it. It apparently is the only good Xbox game. I need to find out, and they were right.
If my Xbox was working, I would be playing The Tourist, and that could have maybe made my list. I don't know.
Fucking Moon Studios are carrying the shit out of them for this year.
Yeah, just for this year, because they don't own them and have left.
Oh yeah, this game has a definitive ending. I don't see them ever making another one.
Oh my god. Okay, well, I'm going to ignore that because that conversation could be its own episode of Big Think. It probably will be someday. So, it is finally time for the Dan Video Games Top 10 Games of the Year. Before we get into it, though, let's do some runners up. Ghost of Tsushima. It couldn't make my list. I really wish the beginning of every mission, like Bob was talking about, didn't open the same way because it completely kills replayability. I wish there were bespoke level design in it. It's really cool when you raid that castle and you feel the moment. You travel through the level. Each area you go through is designed to lead into the next one and have enemies in certain positions. Then you play the rest of the game where that never happens again, including the final ending. Where it's like,
so proud of you, Dan.
You're on a beach.
So proud.
You run into a slightly walled area on the beach, and then you get on a boat. That's the final fucking mission of the game. And I'm like, wow. That's a fucking shame. But this game...
It weirded me out. I'm like, that's like a level. I was like, whoa, they're really pulling out all the stops. It's not generic enemy camp this time. What are they doing?
KZ's like squinting at it like it's an eye exam test. And he's like, is that a level? Am I looking at a level?
I'm the fucking butterfly dude. And I'm like, is this a level? And I'm pointing at an enemy camp.
So that's why Ghost of Tsushima, it makes my runners up. It was at one point, no shit, my number 10. I really love a lot of things about it. It's beautiful landscapes. It has some really fun ideas for sword combat, and shit just gets unhinged when it comes to using your items on enemies and powers on enemies. That is just hilarious and enjoyable, but kind of makes the difficulty fall flat. So that's why it primarily didn't show up here. But everyone else, everything they said about it, totally right. I think the performances, especially from the con, is incredible. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Casey's totally right when sometimes you just get in a spawn, you go, I should drown him.
Yeah, that's great. I'm proud of you for this already because you have a runner-up. I'm like, dude, you had like 8 last year. You have enough to have runner-up.
I'm gonna be honest. There was a middle half of this year, like if you take from April until like I don't know September, where I was like, uh-oh. I think only one game on my list came out in that time span. So yeah, I was a little worried, but this year came out pretty good because I stressed out about the placement of things. I feel like there should be one more runner-up, but it has escaped my memory at this point in time. So I apologize to whatever game that was.
Here. Is it?
It's definitely not Demon's Souls. I can fucking tell you that right now.
What, you saying a 3 doesn't get on your list?
No, I'm saying it doesn't. It doesn't even get anywhere near my list. Thank you.
I don't even remember if he did give it 3.
It makes sense. It came out of the PlayStation 3. It's the same game.
Now I have to check our spoiler cast.
Feel free. I've got a plenty on my hands.
Same game with a suit that's been bedazzled.
So we're starting at number 10, of course. My number 10. Friends of Mineral Town for the Switch. It is a really fantastic game, really fun. It may not be the most advanced farming game there is. In fact, that's Farming Simulator, you dipshit. But it is a really, really enjoyable mix of a dating sim and a farming game. It is incredibly polished, I feel, and though it could have more features, seeing as how this is sticking to their traditional make and model of what a Harvest Moon was, in the past, it doesn't exactly make any new progress in that field. It really is just about giving you a really pretty, super polished one of those games. And my one disappointment in this game is that it is not a new one. And then months after this came out, they were like, hey, we're making a new one. It's next year. And I'm like, thank you. Now we could really get you up this list, assuming that's quality, of course.
The real story of seasons coming out next year.
Yes. Actually, I didn't have story of seasons. I had Age of Seasons. I have the blue cartridge.
It's like those Zelda games.
Yes. Minerals of Ages.
Ancient minerals.
Friends of Time. But yeah,
DX.
Friends of Mineral Town's really good. I recommend anyone check it out. I think it's great. I think it's a little sad, though, that it's only on Switch and PC. I wish it hit every platform. Maybe they'll do that someday. As far as I know, still on those. I played it on Switch. It was great on Switch. Weirdly enough, didn't spend forever loading, didn't run bad, didn't feel bad. They did a great job. Moving on. My number 9 is Streets of Rage 4. Something that's worth noting to somebody who might see you throw up a candidate like this. One, I am not a Streets of Rage fanboy. I'm actually rather critical of the series, and I think the only truly great one's 2. I don't even think
you're more of a Final Fight guy.
I don't know Final Fight places at all, but that fucking intro on the Sega CD version of Final Fight, where they get the best voice actor in the world to go, "What have you done to Jessica?" is like top 10 gaming moments.
When are you death streaming Final Fight Street 1?
I'm gonna go ahead and say with the channel rerun, that's inevitable.
Yeah, we can't stop.
Yeah, that then you gotta stream that weird fucking shit they made off the same engine.
But the thing with Streets of Rage 4 feels incredible. It feels sharp as a tack. The combo potential is really there. It's a joy to play as these characters, and they keep stacking in retro characters for you to play as, so you can walk around as like original Axel. I think it feels incredibly good, and that's something that I haven't gotten from a beat 'em up, in a really long time. Like, I think River City Girls is really fun in its own way, but I didn't quite enjoy it like I did Streets of Rage 4. There's just something about all the different mechanics you have for juggling enemies and all these other systems. Like, instead of like in a lot of beat 'em ups, you use a special move. In a lot of beat 'em ups, it will take your health as a sort of like, oh, you can deal a lot of damage, but you'll lose health. In this, instead, you're basically betting your health. You start building a damage buffer on yourself when you use this special move, and if you get hit, you'll lose it all. But if you keep hitting enemies and don't get hit, you'll slowly gain it back. And that is a really engaging and neat mechanic.
That is really cool.
It's a nice balance between you have a special move, it's really cool and does a lot of damage, and we had to balance that. And I think it's really, really neat. The cutscenes of the story is pretty funny overall. I enjoy the fact that there's a Mr. and Mrs. Y, or is it Miss Y?
It's Mr. Y, and it might be Miss X, but I think it's both Y.
I think they're both Y because they're Gen Y, I guess. I don't know, but it's funny as hell that he had 2 children and they both suck, but one of them more than the other.
Yes.
Is Mr. the one that has the gun that makes them useless?
Yeah.
It's funny as hell. But yeah, really great game, fantastic soundtrack, and even if it had a bad one, it has the retro option, so it technically has a great soundtrack anyway.
I think Cherry Hunter might be one of the best combat kids ever.
Yes! It's fucked up how good that design is, where you're just like, well, technically, aren't you a combat kid? Oh, well, who cares?
Right.
But yeah, Streets of Rage 4 is a real joy. If you haven't tried it, you should definitely check it out. Super enjoyable, and I hear DLC's hitting for that soon.
They keep saying it. I don't
They
believe
keep teasing that, but who knows? We'll see. Moving on to number 8, the game only I'm brave enough to put on this list.
Ooh.
Clubhouse Games. Let me tell you about Clubhouse Games. Clubhouse Games.
52 world classics.
Yes, they're classics, motherfucker. You can't beat that.
Yeah, you can't beat Ludo.
Let me tell you the downsides of Clubhouse Games, okay? The online netcode for some games can be bad, but those games are kind of bad to begin with, so kind of a wash. Yeah, Yahtzee was, Yacht is all right, but the netcode gets a little weird on that, which is fine. It's still turn-based. Some things like darts and bowling aren't. So that's a problem. It's not quite like a 1080p game. It's probably 720p or lower. So some of the stuff's a little blurry. It's clearly an adaptive resolution or dynamic resolution, but it's a really gorgeous game. It's a great collection of games. It has really great presentation style to get people introduced to the mechanics. Like, Bob played Moncala for the first time in this game, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to learn.
And it's just, you could learn it from the game super easily. It was like, oh, okay, cool. I get this. And I think it's a really great way to introduce people to things like that and Gamoku, which is Galaxy Brain Connect 4. And I think it's really great. I really, really enjoyed streaming this. And honestly, I wanted to do more streams, but I always have the thought of, man, people are just going to get tired of you calling them over to do a Clubhouse stream, Dan.
It did contribute to your favorite clip of all time.
Which one?
When we play Connect 4 together and then I just quit.
That's really good.
That was really strong, yes.
Yeah, I gotta find that. It was really good.
This is a good moment. But yeah, no, Clubhouse Games really, really great. It's a shame that in order to get games greenlit a lot of the time, you can't just say, hey, I'm going to make these games that are traditional games, that are board games even, and do a hyper-polished version of that is fun and professional and looks gorgeous. And I'm really glad that Nintendo greenlit this. This is literally my favorite game from them this year.
If the bowling was good, it would probably be on my top 10 list.
Yeah, the bowling is just bad, which is a shame because Wii Sports bowling is great.
Right.
It would be great if they could have fixed darts in bowling at some point, which, I'm sitting here and I'm like, darts is terrible, but feels like I'm throwing all bullseye.
I figured out that if you throw the instant you're allowed to throw it, it goes perfectly straight.
That's stupid as hell. But yeah, Clubhouse Games, delightful. Check it out if you haven't. Next game on my list is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War.
Yeah!
Okay, so I actually disagree with Bob on the story. I think the story levels mostly are really good. I think there are very few where I was just disappointed. I think the optional ones, where you have to do galaxy brain deciphering and shit, which it was really good. Because it also is unique per game. So I was like, here's my solution, Bob. Doesn't work on his, and I look at his shit and I'm like, Bob, your puzzle's completely fucking different. You can't cheat off my test. We need to figure out how to get into these levels. I'm halfway done deciphering his and I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, these levels are bad. And it's a shame that didn't tie more into the main story. It is really ancillary content there, but aside from that, and one of the two endings, because I still stand by the other one. The other one's way too funny. It is unbelievably good. I think the story mode was actually really great, and I really enjoyed it. There are numerous moments where I got a cool sense of player agency. Like, I look over and I see Bob going through. He takes the Russian mission completely different from me. I'm like, oh, you can do... I didn't even check that out. I should have gone back and played through that mission again to take that completely different route of getting access to the underground. That's really neat. And these levels build all that out. There's the dialogue stuff between you and the other crewmates. It's really fucking good. Like, I wish every Call of Duty had such insanely good, like, capture performance coupled with really cool dialogue tree options. If this and last year are how Call of Duty's going to go from here on out. That is amazing. And some of the best we've seen in a really long time.
Yeah, let's see if they can keep it up. I really doubt it.
Yeah, me too. I'm super skeptical if they can do that because I didn't expect this to be good. Like, nobody did. This was supposed to be the tire fire year.
Yeah.
I mostly bought it because we planned on buying a ton of games to cover at launch, and then the Xbox didn't work, so I didn't buy like 3 of them that I planned on buying on Xbox. Whoops. Still haven't played Watch Dogs Legion. Go ahead and throw that out there, you know? Entirely possible that could have made my list.
Yeah, what the heck, Dan? You need to get it on this list.
I'm sorry. It's probably not going to make it on this list.
Oh man, fucking Immortals Phoenix Rising left my fucking mind until now.
Oh god, that did come out, didn't it?
Yeah.
Dude, I played like 35 hours of that. I thought about platting it.
Ugh.
It just couldn't be Astro's Playroom, the fucking juggernaut.
Let me think about it.
He's number 10.
No, I can't. It can't even hit the 3 honorable mentions.
That's a good point. You do have 3 honorable mentions. So my number 6 is Tony Hawk's Pro. You know, I didn't even talk about the multiplayer in Call of Duty.
Oh no,
but that's okay. You talked about it plenty. It is fantastic. If we lived in the future on the PS5, where only PS5 and next gen people could play, the game literally loads levels in 3 seconds. It's stunning.
it is. When you get to join a match that's already started, it's magic.
You get to experience how fast that is, and it's jarring. You're just like, what do you mean?
Humanity if it's next gen only, and it just looks like a Nioh Midgar.
Yeah, it's really incredible stuff. That game's really fun. I'm super jazzed they made that. Would really appreciate if Sony could get variable refresh rate working on the PS5. That'd be swell.
That'd be great.
That'd be fantastic because the 120 frames per second mode isn't quite 120, but it is really fucking smooth. Anyway, next game's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2. I'm trying to figure out how I can briefly summarize. This game feels exactly right. It looks incredible. It is fully uncut, a good collection of 1 and 2 combined, and it feels so spectacularly good. Now that they fixed the career mode stuff so you can go through and play it how you want to play a Tony Hawk, doing the goals over and over again, it is a fantastic package. If they did not fix that, this would have gotten lower on the list for sure. Because while doing the skater goals as each person is really neat, and I appreciate that, and that I sunk tons of time into doing those high level goals and stuff. There's something weird about this Tony Hawk game's just done. You can't play it like you're supposed to play a Tony Hawk game. Every mission is now just you skating around and getting stat points. But yeah, this package is incredible. I never could have imagined they would have been able to do something like this, and now they just need to take that and make a new game after they do this to 3, because 3 is a really incredible Tony Hawk as well. I came to terms with the fact that I hate multiple levels from 1.
Downhill Jam's just so good.
It's so bad.
I like how it hit me like a truck so hard I can't even run a bit that it's good.
It is truly heinous, and I appreciate Rad Rat Video talking about how it's a collection, so of course it should have it, but realistically, this game shouldn't even have that level.
Yeah.
It really is that bad. But yeah, no, this game has tons of staying power. It really is the best you could want from this. In no way did this disappoint. Except for the multiplayer. And honestly, the gaps. I thought that was really sad, because to me, playing a lot of maps and making a lot of parks back in the day on Underground, and I was really disappointed that this didn't have gaps. I love making gaps in that. You know, you have someone jump a ramp over a lava pit and land on a rail, and then you write in some dumb joke about it. Like, that's the point of your really stupid skate park. But the other tools they added to create a park are incredible. You can customize the curvature of half pipes and things like that. It is, in fact, incredibly complicated and above and beyond what you would expect on that side. But they were worried about naughty words being typed in, so they took away. Yeah. Anyway, moving on to the next one. Casey's like, no fun zone. Aw. My number 5 is Dreams. Dreams has been an incredible experience, even as someone who's made literally nothing. Literally nothing.
That was this year.
Yeah, that was this year. The full launch was basically the beginning of this year. I believe it was March or February.
Yeah, it was before the event.
Yeah, that's why I forgot.
Yeah.
When the stars aligned and the Titans came out of the ground.
Dreams has one, like, if we want to just cover it objectively, Dreams doesn't even fucking render polygons. Dreams is made from its own type of rendering technology. It looks incredible because of it and has a visual style that matches up with nothing else. The shit I have seen people make in Dreams visually has been some of the most stunning stuff of the year, and a lot of it has run on normal PS4 hardware like that. It is unreal, the photorealism that you can do in that and the esoteric art styles you can also accomplish. It's truly impressive in that one way alone. But on top of that, there's like a million layers of complexity of how the game allows people to create levels, how it allows them to link levels, how fast it loads between wholly different dream sequences. So we're playing a game like Pig Detective 2. Pig Detective 2 is incredible. You should all go play it. Or just cheat and watch our video, I guess.
Why not just play a bunch of things related to Wario?
Oh my god! And then he dies.
The Wario stuff is really good. I remember we got to like the 7th Wario level, and someone in chat's like, "Come on, man, it's getting old," and I'm like, "No, it's not."
You're an idiot.
I'm just covered in tears from laughing, and my face is red.
I think we played a Sonic game in Dreams. It was better than any recent Sonic game.
Yeah, it was really fucking impressive. That Sonic demo was nuts.
There was a Sonic game that was like, this person made my ideal Sonic game, where they're like, it's a hub with levels that have boost levels and Sonic Adventure like 1 and 2 levels in it, where you like exploring and stuff, but you're still Sonic. I'm like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
How'd you do that? Well, the hub's just straight up a city.
Wait a second. You get what's good about Sonic and then develop that out? What?
You realize that the main Sonic can do more than one gameplay type.
It's really incredible. What I've seen people accomplish in Dreams. I have been floored over and over again by stuff made by the community. And in a bit more sappy of a story, literally the only sense of Christmas feeling I got was from a community Christmas dream made in Dreams. Like the community of artists came together and just made a street that you would go down to celebrate Christmas, go up to the houses and all this stuff. And I was like, this is really charming and heartwarming in all the right ways. And I think this game is something really special. I think it's a shame that more people aren't talking about it. I'm terrified to try it in VR. Absolutely mortified, actually. I was like, there's no way they would ever add VR. And then 3 months after the game launched, they're like, yeah, our VR update's almost done. And I'm like, what? What do you?
Yeah, I hope they continue to do well, because the sheer amount of people are just gonna go. They're just gonna shut that studio down.
Yeah, you have to wonder. One thing's for sure, it would be nice if Sony gave this a harder push. I feel like this is the only time this gen. Well, not the only time this last gen. It's the first time in years Sony has put out a game and just not advertised it, really. Which was funny because towards the beginning of development, they actually advertised it a ton. It kept showing up at E3. People got exhausted because it wasn't clear what the game was.
we didn't even get a name. It was just sort of these transition segments.
Yeah.
It was very strange.
They didn't even present it as a game.
Yeah.
It was just some weird vignettes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You said it's not the first time this gen Sony's done that.
Yeah.
What is the game you think they didn't advertise at all? I wanted to see if it's the same one I'm thinking.
Until Dawn.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of Concrete Genie.
That's true, but at least that's a lower budget thing. This game took 8 years to make.
Oh, yeah. I was just thinking about that. This took like 3 years to make.
Yeah.
Concrete Genie did.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's releasing. Here are the reviews right next to it. What will we also place there? The Wired PS5 interviews.
Yeah. No, that was...
And I'm like, you killed it.
Yeah, they totally did bury that. I feel a little bit less awful because Media Molecule is a huge studio, and they actually, the people who did make Concrete Genie are a Sony studio. I can't remember their name right now. But that's one of their, what is it, 11 studios? But, you know, Media Molecule...
They should buy like 40 more.
What if they just bought a bucket deal?
Ugh.
They went on down to the video game developer store and bought a bucket meal full of developers.
Yeah, can we buy you?
Compile heart, yum.
But yeah, if you haven't seen Dreams, hopefully with some of the upcoming content we're working on, you'll get to see what's so special about this. Because I've played literally all sorts of things in it that are amazing that people can make them. It's so exciting. Next up at my number 4 slot. You ever hear of Doom Eternal?
Yes, I heard that the longer the icon of sin remains on Earth, the stronger he shall become.
Oh, you heard right. That is absolutely the case. I was mostly confused when I heard other people really hated the direction that this took Doom 2016, whereas I feel like it's a flat upgrade. I think changing the level design to become what it did, largely, like for 95 or 90% of the game, worked fucking excellently. It's just that 5 or 10% that's like, meh.
They just hate fun.
It's just, I want to use the super shotgun and only the super shotgun. Why does the game require me to use other weapons?
Yeah, I feel like some people may feel that way and think that's vindicated, but I think what the game's going for is really, really brilliant. Playing it feels so fucking good, and the soundtrack's so fucking badass. I really wish they had a good release of the CD. That would have been nice. It's too bad about the everything with the composer.
Yeah.
That whole thing's a mess. The fact you can hear a weird sound loading glitch in the intro song on the CD, because it's literally the version they use in the game, where I was playing through the game and I noticed that sound hitch and I was like, that's weird.
That reminds me of when people were waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3's soundtrack to come out. So the final levels theme in that, people loved it so much, and the only rip in the first 10 seconds has Donald's footsteps in it. so for a year, people were like, the soundtrack's coming out, they're like, finally, Donald can stop walking.
That's really good.
It's so bad.
But yeah, Doom Eternal's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to that DLC. Really looking forward.
Boy. God, just... It's so good.
Do they have a date on it yet?
No, they just said that they were going to work on it, because there's the other thing about Doom that they delayed, which is the fucking Dark Souls thing that they were going to do to it, where someone online can invade your game as a demon.
I forgot that was a thing.
They advertised
that was supposed to be it
before it came out. I thought it was gone.
Oh, yeah, they put out a letter at the end of the year saying, here are the things we plan on working on. One of them was there. They're like, we prioritize the single-player stuff, of course, but we are still doing it.
Okay.
Which I'm like, sure. I want to play as a multiplayer Marauder, because I bet they'll be easier. Or worse.
So my number 3 is going to be 13 Sentinels, the Aegis Rim. You probably heard from some people by now that this game's incredible. They were fucking right. This game is fucking stellar. It has the best soundtrack of the year, in my opinion. It is amazing in so many fucking ways, and the plot just being, this is the twist, got you, this is the twist, got you again, this is the twist.
And then they go, this is the twist. I'm like, yeah, I knew that fucking 8 hours ago, actually. I played this character differently.
And this is the twist, and I'm like, bullshit, I know that's false from someone else's playthrough.
Shout out to my YouTube comments saying, don't do these 3 characters until later. And I'm like, I understand why you told me that.
But it's too late now. The train's in motion.
Like the game would stop you if it didn't want you to have the ability to do that, because it stops you all sorts of ways.
And that's true.
It does.
I think it's a really fantastic experience, and I honestly enjoyed the tactical mode. I enjoyed destruction. I just think its number one problem is it wasn't challenging enough. I literally lost 0 times. The worst I did was I got an A once instead of an S.
Disgusting.
Should have played on intense.
I should have, honestly. I didn't know I would enjoy it this much. Otherwise, I would have played it on intense. One thing's for sure.
Super nuke.
If I was heading towards, if I wasn't heading towards Game of the Year, if I had played this on the PS4, I would have. But unfortunately, I bought it and then just sat on it for most of this year.
Base PS4 doing missile rain.
How exciting. I don't think I used that move once. I bought it.
It's so good. All the circles appear on the screen.
Yeah, oh man, I can't remember the name of the move now. Missile spreader or whatever, where you move your unit and then deploy from where they are and just hit all the surrounding things. That is a fucking good move. One might say unhinged.
Yes.
But yeah, it has some really fucking fantastic characters. It has a really great story. Even if it is 17 times someone being like, we're going to put this entire story in our game. It's every sci-fi trope ever. It is entire stories consumed into it, and it works pretty well. The only reason it's not higher is some of the twists undo the weight of multiple other twists and make you go, oh, that's...
Yeah. Sometimes
like,
Django Fett is there.
Yeah, so it's a fantastic game. I obviously recommend it to everyone. Moving on to number 2. Casey, guess what my number 2 is?
Fuck. The Last of Us 2, Hades, Battletoads.
Number 2 is Resident Evil 3. Resident Evil 3 literally is the future of shooter horror. This game feels incredible. Yes, this is the bar now. Like, it feels so incredible. Other games should aspire to feel as good and be as great to replay as this game. I'm interested in Resident Evil 8. I'm going to get it. I'm going to play through it. I know I'm not going to enjoy it as much as Resident Evil 3 unless they just completely blow my ass out on what that game is.
I still hold out hope that there's some insane part of that game they won't show us.
There's so much fun in the unlock shop. I've played through this game at least, 6 times? Something like that. And the thing looks stunning. Even on a PS4 vanilla, which was sounding something like, I had an incredible fucking time with it, and it just looked so fucking good. I really appreciate the level diversity, and that is a thing it has over Resident Evil 2. I feel like Resident Evil 2, it's great and all, but the areas in this have much more interesting gameplay tied directly to them and a much different look to the locales. So I enjoyed 3 because, you get that openish area early on. You get these different labs, medical facilities, etc., etc. And I think it has a lot of variety all throughout it. If I were to remove one thing from this game, it is that terrifying spider-like thing putting its eggs in your throat.
Yeah.
That is the one bad thing. Yeah, no, it's not often that a video game shows a thing and I literally feel sick. I'm like, oh, this is a fucking mistake. I should have done this. Okay, and my number one is Astro's Playroom. If more games were like Astro's Playroom, the world would be a better place. We could solve all sorts of problems as a society if there were platformers like Astro's Playroom. I cannot think of the last time I felt like it's Mario Odyssey. Like, I'm trying to think of the last time a truly great 3D platformer came out. And from before that, I don't even know anymore, man. Like, this thing is amazing visually. It has a great soundtrack. The joy of playing it is great on a normal tactile level, but it is escalated even more by the features of the DualSense. The fact that you get that mini gun that shoots out balls feels dope. It is such a joyous experience. If we had more games like Astro's, the world would be a better place. The literal only problem with Astro's Playroom, the only problem, is that I can't pay them $60 to give me more content. That is it. It is an unassailable game. I really, truly love this game. It is something special, and I think I'd be blessed every year to have a game this special. Oh, and on top of that, it also has a bunch of really insanely high-fidelity scans of PlayStation shit, which is always cool. I wish Tekken had that shit. I wish Tekken had a bunch of, here's Namco shit.
God, that'd be hilarious to throw into Tekken, but, it's their main thing, I think.
Yeah, it's their highest budget game, I think, over at Namco.
For a moment, I was like, what, kickboxing equipment?
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah, here's our sponsored Jin's gloves.
I was trying to think of what their other highest budget game. I'm like, Code Vein.
Uh-huh.
Go around in Code Vein to collect these hyper-realistic looking Namco arcade machines. I'm like...
They got blood on them.
It's the 4 a.m. thing. I'm just shriveled up and dying, and I'm like, okay, yes, ma'am.
That'd be funny because you do have your edgy vampire church you hang out in between missions.
Of course.
So
okay.
collecting the arcade machines to put them there would make sense.
That would be really funny. But yeah, Astro's Playroom is incredible. I have to go back and play that VR one now because I enjoyed this so much. Anyway, running my list from number 1 to number 10. Number 1, Astro's Playroom. Number 2, Resident Evil 3. Number 3, 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim. Number 4, Doom Eternal. Number 5, Dreams. Number 6, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2. Number 7, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Number 8, Clubhouse Games. Number 9, Streets of Rage 4. And number 10, Friends of Mineral Town, with honorable mention to runner-up Ghost of Tsushima. Okay, now I just need to tabulate, so we're going to take a short break. Okay, so we're back from our break, and we've tabulated, and we're about to live hit the sort button right now. We have a numbering system in order to help us sort these things and get through this data faster. That's how we like to do it around here.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to sort that by column 0.
Sort.
Oh, that's upside down. Game of the Year, Streets of Rage 4.
Sort properly. Sort properly.
I'm working on it.
Properly.
Rice chicken.
A rice chicken. A rice. There we go.
There we go.
That took several minutes.
Yeah, it did. Okay, so
No properly sorted list is legend.
yes, it's legend. Okay, we're just gonna read these. This is not the official order because we need to spend I don't know, half an hour at least bitching. But based on the numbering system, Doom Eternal and 13 Sentinels are tied for first.
God, it really be like that.
Coming in a couple points later is Resident Evil 3. Dropping down almost 10 points is Astro's Playroom, then Hades, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Nioh 2.
Actually.
Oh, that's true. I should probably one moment.
yeah, Remako's the fucking mod.
Okay, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Nioh 2, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, Streets of Rage 4, Genshin Impact, Trails of Cold Steel 4, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Dreams, Yakuza Like a 7, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Clubhouse Games, and Friends of Mineral Town. Man, these bottom games are all like really good, but no more than like one or two of us gave it.
Friends of Mineral Town should be higher.
I mean, let me look at this and think. Yeah, it is better than Spider-Man Miles Morales. I agree. Now, to make our lives sane, here's what I'm going to do.
What you going to do?
I'm going to put numbers next to this, and we'll just sort this shit out right here, right now on this side of the spreadsheet.
Yeah, that seems more sane.
Yeah, probably.
19 games were listed across four people's top 10s.
We can just throw in some of our runners-up and get a top 20.
Okay, let's
Demon Souls remake.
Let's start with not picking Demon Souls.
It looks like all left is Kingdom Hearts or Xenoblade.
Okay, Xenoblade, congratulations, you made it to the top 20.
I'm good with that. I didn't do a runner-up category because I didn't know we were allowed, and I was first. But Xenoblade would have been that.
I was like, no, this is one of my favorite years of gaming in a long time. I need to throw some extras in here.
Okay, now I've got the top 10 in my sights, properly highlighted and arranged so that way I can see the exact cutoff point.
Ooh.
Think about this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just know, the rest of these ceremonies, I don't want you to see what we're doing in the spreadsheet, but if I could give you a live feed of me staring at this and us moving shit around, I would absolutely do that, but it's really not practical.
Yeah.
Yeah, add a little bit of narration as you talk about a thing.
Of course. Of course.
Illustrate it, and it'll be all fine.
Yeah, that's what we did for everything else, but there's a real excitement to see the kinetic energy.
But you'll hear, like, gasps.
Okay, so let me look at this real quick. Here's my first argument I'm going to make, and of course, I'm going to make this, but I want to see what you guys think.
Sure.
Ghost of Tsushima should be lower.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm okay with that, yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima currently is 8th place.
In fact, I'd be fine with it falling out of the top 10. It can be this year's Resident Evil 2.
Oh, no!
God.
I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure if I want that to be the Resident Evil 2, where it's, this is a game that's really high up on my list that I'm totally fine just taking out back. Because it's my number 9. But yeah, feel free to shoot it if you wish.
Yeah, I was like, none of us really have it super high on our list, so it can't be the Resident Evil 2.
Let me. That's true. That's very
Resident
true.
Evil 2 last year was, this game's great. We need to trim the list in some way because people want their special pick in. So I guess we're gonna kill like a 9 or a 10 out of 10.
Okay, so I put
brutal blood.
I put Ghost of Tsushima at a 10. Okay. We can leave it on this side of the gap for now.
Right. If one of those things down there gets
enough
powerful
rallying.
We have not scaled the gate yet and chopped its head off from behind.
Okay, so what else about this list seems suspect to you guys? Is there anything that you see that you go, that should be higher, that should be lower?
I'm strangely really okay with a lot of this list.
Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War should be higher.
I mean, that's true. It is really great. I think it could go up one slot.
I also advocate for calling 11 through 19 the losers column.
He will be putting someone else in the loser column.
That's terrible. Fucking Adler. I could see Call of Duty going up one slot easily.
Looking at this, I'm gonna be real with you. I like Astro. It being that high is crazy.
I think it makes all the sense of the world. Audience, it is currently slot number 4.
Yeah, that's a little bit much.
That's also where I put it. That's where I think it should be, but
I'm happy for you. I'm especially happy for Dan, who put it at number 1, which was great because the entire time leading up to, I'm like, I don't think there's a single game on this list that I can think of that he's going to pick. What Sony thing is left? And then I got hit in the face with the DualSense.
Man, it's going to be a real bummer if I, because Sony has a large lineup for next year. Ragnarok's not shipping. Anyways, it's going to be a real bummer if none of those make my top 5. Because it's just like...
That will be funny, because just like, what's your most anticipated game of this award? First party Sony, first party Sony.
Yeah, because, I mean... Because Ratchet and Clank, like that's like when I think about next year, it's Returnal and Ratchet and Clank. Because I fell in love with Ratchet and Clank this year. I didn't realize how fun those games were, and I love basically every game from Housemarque, and the intensity with which I love those is really high. So I would be devastated if if somehow I hate every game they put out next year.
That would be
It's
really
all
rough.
CBT.
It's all clipping wings.
Yep.
Okay, so you guys think it should go down?
At least 1. I think 5 is an acceptable place for Astro's Playroom.
I'm in the space of it should move down 2. Not more than 2, just 2. I can't. I can't. My brain can't parse it being in the top 5 personally. But I'm happy for you.
I'm happy for you, insane man.
I think it's fine for it to be in the top 5 considering the death culting that went on with it.
Yeah, the speedrun thing is really fucking nuts.
Yeah, it's just every aspect of it is my brain just went, there's not enough.
Yeah.
Like they gave me a taste, but I just want so much more, and that's why it hit 10 and squeaked by in there. I need more in there.
How about this? I'm willing to bargain.
All right.
I'm okay with Astro dropping 1 slot, but the thing that goes above it cannot be Hades.
So you're saying we move Tony Hawk above it and drop Hades 1? I think I could get behind this.
I think that's...
I can't work with this. As you can see here, it's my number 2. My number 2.
I mean, it being 6 would make it exactly match up with mine, so I guess I have to be in favor of that.
And in fact, it would place a lot better than on my list. It's not on my list.
It sure isn't.
And for anyone who assumes I just didn't play it, no, I played 8 hours of that game.
6.8. The Steam. No, I have the Steam thing open on my other monitor.
Oh, okay. Wait, did you look that up to be like, how much of this game did this motherfucker play?
No, I've just been playing it all week, so my second monitor just either has the game open or the Steam tab open.
So.
Like, because Bob played 6.9, so it's almost tied.
Bob played a lot more than 6.9 hours of that.
Oh yeah, it's just recently. That's my bad.
Okay, I was like, that can't be right.
That's fucking horseshit. That dude was at that for over a week.
I lost 4 days.
But yeah, no, you totally nailed my number. It's like 7.
Yeah. So your pitch is you're fine with moving Astro's Playroom down 1, but Hades can't go up above it. So it would have to go down. Then Tony Hawk would go up. I'm fine with that if we move Final Fantasy VII Remake up 4.
Oof.
Well,
That didn't even make it onto of our lists.
That's okay. Astro didn't make it on Feels. Oh, wait. It made it on everyone else's. Never mind.
I didn't put it on my list because I didn't feel that strongly about it, and I knew Dan would put it in his top 3.
I kind of forgot. Where I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, he would like that. Like a lot. I forgot.
Yeah, no, that's like, as I said before, my number one concern about a sequel is if they don't stick in a bunch of like PlayStation memorabilia, people will be like, oh, that was the good part of the game, and I'm going to lose my mind. Because no, the game is the good part of the game, you fucking idiot. It didn't have an eye toy, so it's not good anymore.
It didn't have any of the fun stuff in there. That studio's closed now.
They deserve to be shoved into space because they didn't put an eye toy in their 3D platformer.
That'd be your Joker moment.
Okay, hear
You know
me
what a
out.
studio gets when they don't put the eye toy in? What they deserve.
Hear me out, okay? I want to see how the room feels about this.
Oh no, it can't be good.
No, it's great, actually. What if
Sure.
we wholesale change the places of Astro's Playroom and Hades, which are 4th and 5th, with Tony Hawk and Final Fantasy 7? So Final Fantasy 7 ends up at 5th, Tony Hawk ends up at 4th, and then Astro ends up somewhere in 6 and 7 with Hades.
Here's my thing, Dan.
Okay.
I did not put Tony Hawk in my list at all.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't stomach it.
Yeah.
But Final Fantasy 7 is my number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put it on 5, I will not argue to move it up anymore.
That sounds strong. I now advocate for this course of action.
I will absolutely lock in, and if you keep 7 at 5, I'll shut the fuck up about the game.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't even love the game. Like, I obviously didn't hate it as much as some people, but I'm not totally averse to the concept of it being 5th. My problem is moving Astros down to 6th or 7th.
It'd be 6th.
I'd be comfortable with that. Like, I understand that people love the Final Fantasy 7. I'm fine with it locking in at a 5.
Yeah, I know, because it's not on either of your lists, and I know how strongly Bob feels about how it killed everything and broke his heart, which I am sympathetic toward. I am fine keeping it at 5 if we move it there, because it would be mean to like fucking push it on. It's like, you played it, didn't put it on your list. It's fine.
Yeah.
I at least want it represented in our top half, and if we do this now, that means I can move on to other conversations and not have to have my brain go, we have to go back to Final Fantasy VII. I must right the wrongs that are happening right now.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to move some things around.
And it hurts. I have to shoot Hades downward to have this happen. Sacrifices must be made.
I mean, this seems like a positive mood for me, because even though while many people love Hades and think the game's swell, I really don't, but I see the good qualities in it, right? Like, that game just straight up, I don't like it, but I like a lot of shit in it. It's complicated. Keep in mind, I'm not a huge fan of the roguelite genre. I think the only one I've ever enjoyed was Rogue Legacy, and I'm not even sure Rogue Legacy 2 is going to nail that, but luckily that fucker didn't launch this year, so didn't have to worry about it. It's still early access. Okay. So I shuffled Hades and Tony Hawk down. I didn't move Astro. Final Fantasy 7 Remakes at 5th. What does the room think about this current arrangement?
Well, you worked with me, so I'll stop shooting Astro for now.
me and Casey with our number ones that other people didn't rate as highly as 4th and 5th.
Oh no, I've thought about this like 2 months ago, where I'm like, man, 7 really isn't moving. Well, I guess I'm gonna campaign to get it at 5 the entire fucking show, and I was just waiting on it.
Yeah, this year, strangely, I'm kind of okay with where things are sitting.
Yeah, I think we punched the numbers in right, which is kind of nuts, because that was this was my first time assigning numbers.
There wasn't anything this year like Disco Elysium last year, where it came out of nowhere and is like a genre-defining super game.
Yeah, this year was
that
a lot less...
that I have to have a blood war over.
Right. Like, there were a lot of incredibly strong games last year. Like, there were 10s last year. I don't have a single 10 on my list this year.
I have 1. It's in 4th place right now.
I have 2. I have 2. They're my top 2.
I thought you gave... Never mind.
Our scores change as we reflect on them.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fine. I'm not gonna...
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm looking at our bottom 9.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that anyone picked that they want to like fight for it at all to get more recognition in any way?
Let me
Because I do.
Okay, how about you lead? You go first.
It's fucked up. I want Ori higher. That game's fucking fantastic.
But we're not going to sort the bottom 9. You just want it.
He wants it on the main list.
You want it on 10.
Yeah, I kind of want to just shoot Ghost of Tsushima in the head. And put it
I mean, I do too, but for dreams.
I played like an hour of Ori, and I hated that part, so I never went back. And that's enough for me to be like, no. Which I believe it could get better, but I also played the first game and it was also really bad at the beginning. So I don't know.
The intro's really on rails for the first like 15 minutes, where it's just like, it's setting up the story, throws you into the game. And then at first I'm like, okay, I didn't know if there was combat or not, because I pretty much remembered nothing about this game's marketing. And then after the first hour, I got the sword, started having fun with that, started learning more things. By the end, it's just the movement, the platforming, all of it's like so well designed. Toward the end, you just do these insane jumps and movements and land on baby platforms, and I'm like, they nailed it. I adored that. I knocked it out in like 2 sittings. Where I just couldn't stop.
So, for me as a human, I'm okay. You know, I know friends of Mineral Town, Clubhouse Games. Those are just gonna fall away, like they were never real at all. I understand that, and I've come to terms with that.
Clubhouse came out in June. It basically didn't exist. It's in the same part of my brain as IGN Summer of Games.
that's a tragedy.
Listen, I'm trying to slowly fade, like, on the chart. I'm slowly trying to just fade 2020 totally out and just connect 2021 and 2019.
So here's what I'm going to do. Okay, there's our backup list.
Okay.
I'm okay shooting these two. There. Friends of Mineral Town.
In Clubhouse.
Clubhouse, they're gone. I get it. I'm not gonna.
I liked Clubhouse. I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
This year was way too strong for me to even like sniff at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If this was like a 2018, there you go.
Yeah, don't even.
Not 2019. That was also pretty solid for me, but 2018, yeah, we can think about that.
I'm not gonna fight in favor of Yakuza if that game was in 4K. Maybe I might.
Yeah, no, fucking seriously. Like, I wish
it would have made it. I bet it would have gotten like at least 7.
I'm gonna be honest. If my Xbox didn't have the problem with smart delivery, I would have played that. That was on my list to be played in time for this. So it's fucking Xbox's fault that I didn't play Yakuza 7 because now I'm waiting for the PS5 version.
Though, to be fair, I was given a real choice here and I went back and forth. I was like, which one of these will I play first? Yakuza or 13 Sentinels? And I believe I picked the right pill.
I would say so.
You took the Shu Amaguchi pill. It makes you look good for Yuki-chan.
Got to get Game of the Year for Yuki-chan.
God, this is fucking, I hate you.
You don't want to be just like any other punk.
I'm acting like an amateur.
Oh, we're done.
As long as you can keep this podcast moving.
Okay. So here's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
No, I can't even begin to make that argument. No.
What?
No, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
What were you going to do? Were you...
It's like...
What?
I was like, what if we move Resident Evil 3 a little bit lower, then maybe we can get room for... No, that doesn't. It would have to move too low.
No.
Then I wouldn't be willing to make that mistake.
It's up way too high for us to do one of those things.
Yeah, no, like not even just looking at it and feeling it and then thinking about it, but looking at the numbers on top of that, I'm like, yeah, it's basically smack on with Doom Eternal and 13 Sentinels, clearly.
Yeah, I don't think anything in our top 3 is going below our top 3. I think the only thing can happen is the order of them change.
Right.
Okay,
the door locked behind them.
So here's what I'm going to do then. We're just going to highlight these 3 in red. Like, give them a red border because they're too perfect. Ooh, wait, never mind. No, blue's too. Let me see.
Yellow?
Boom.
Oh, okay.
They're gridlocked for greatness. We can sort them among each other if we feel like doing that. But
That's a conversation for later.
Yeah, that's a conversation for later for sure. We need to focus on the rest of this list. Okay, so
Streets of Rage 4, it's one of the best beat 'em ups ever made.
it really fucking is, and that's insane and a tragedy because half of the people here haven't touched it, and there's something kinetically so good about playing it,
Right?
that you don't get in any other beat 'em up remotely recently. Like, it feels sharp like the originals did. Like 2 did. It feels better than 1, and it definitely is a better game than 3. If you like Streets of Rage 3, good on you. I, too, like cool shit in games when they happen when you do a really specific thing, but that soundtrack is experimental. Being as generous as I can, I will call it experimental.
That's an old game, right? Did they steal music for that?
3? I'm trying to remember.
It's some old ass Sega game, so I assume.
2, absolutely. 2's just Yuzo went to a fucking club and listened to music and then made it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Streets of Rage 2 is Yuzo Koshiro at his peak of all art is theft.
You made this, I made this.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
brave.
It is brave, and it's really brave when they remake any of the songs from 2 in this, because it sounds even closer to the original song.
Ooh.
Is it like so blatant that they can't do anything with it for re-releases?
For some reason, they don't even acknowledge that. I think they're just hoping that no one owns the rights to those 90s techno songs anymore.
Okay, what I was asking is, did they fly too close to the sun like the Big O opening?
No, we haven't had a Big O opening or a Sonic 3 moment yet. So we're still doing all right. Hopefully we continue to do all right. The songs are too good to lose to the people who made them originally.
Yes.
Oops.
Okay.
Man, that hit me like a truck.
Yep. Reform copyright law. Now then, moving on.
You want to do that thing where you want to like erase one near the bottom again?
Yeah. Does anyone else have any of them that they absolutely feel like it can be erased and they're okay with that?
Spider-Man.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. We just eliminated the bottom 4.
Right.
So that makes sense.
I have no problem getting rid of Spider-Man, despite loving that game.
You can erase Trails of Cold Steel. I'm not going to argue for that to move into the top 10.
If this wasn't a super competitive year, based on me playing like half that franchise, I'd be like, there's an argument.
I'm tempted to argue in favor of Genshin Impact because it represents a better future.
I've heard people say it represents a terrible future.
Those people are
it
insane and have no experience with this genre.
Okay.
Imagine if we showed, imagine if the really cool CG trailers that in the past were some horrible mobile game that you'd never want to touch are now a video game. It represents that potential future.
Okay. So we'll leave it here.
I just imagine the way people talk about that game and all the problems it has, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's the same as this if I would go, Streets of Rage 4, pretty rough in terms of design. Here's my experience with beat 'em ups. That was it.
I'm just looking at 11 to 14 is a game basically from each of us where only one of us voted for it, except for Streets of Rage 4, where both me and Bob put it on our list, but we didn't put it very high because, well, we feel very strongly about our list.
Yeah.
I'm not getting Dreams on this list, am I?
It doesn't look like
let me take a short liquor break.
I don't know. Who knows? Maybe you'll filibuster like I'm preparing to.
You want to fight, Dan? I think it'd be funny if Ghost of Tsushima fell off.
I think it would be just. That game's great. It's fantastic. It has a lot of problems.
Ghost of Tsushima is the most powerful B- I've ever played.
I'll admit
Yes.
I had this at number 10 for a lot of the time I was making my list.
Yeah.
Then I kept moving around and it eventually escaped that. So I get it if we want to move Ghost of Tsushima off.
Here's the thing, though. Bob,
Yeah.
have you ever heard about what happens when a power vacuum develops?
Oh no.
I'm not gonna. You know what? I'm gonna save my bullets. I'm not arguing in favor of Genshin Impact.
Oh no, that scares me more than anything else.
Yeah.
Okay.
I put Ghost of Tsushima at my number 9. And there are large chunks of the game that I do not remember. But I remember some moment-to-moment gameplay that was a lot of fun.
When the best moments are, don't do the story, just wander around exploring, getting every question mark filled. It's like, okay, maybe that's not the best.
Oh yeah, I did plat it. So there was that, but also I got a comical amount of fun of just going in locations and going, I'm going to spend 30 minutes in photo mode.
Yeah, the photo mode in
And
that's
just,
really fun.
and compose a shot. And then have it play Jin Sakai's theme, which I think is a really good, strong banger. But I think you should shoot it.
Okay. I'm doing some organizational stuff to make it easier for us to look at what is and is not on the list. Yeah, I feel like I can remove it, but I'm scared about what will take its place. Because I guess I have 2 and 3 odds of getting something I want if you just stupidly look at it as that of Streets of Rage 4 and Dreams are fucking amazing.
Yeah, I just have this. I'm really against putting Ori on the list just because I have a negative experience with the series and with it particularly.
I can't speak to the first one because I don't remember. I barely played any of the first one just because it was one of those situations of it's on the Xbox and I didn't have a good PC at the time.
Yeah.
That type of thing. And it's not my primary. But I played this game, and I guess I'll start I'm going to talk about Ori now, I guess. I played this in 2 settings just to give it a try, so maybe I could put it in the 3 honorable mention things there. I liked the intro. It was like nice and cute, setting up the world, and then it gets all scary and stuff. And then you start the gameplay. And I just got wrapped up in just the atmosphere. The music is fantastic. One of the worst things is that I played it too late. I would have put it in best soundtrack. And I probably would make it like my number 2. I think that soundtrack is amazing. It has this great level of like whimsy to it. But then other times it's shit is fucked up and like there's like this scary vibe to it that makes it really good. The visuals look fantastic. I was even playing it on like medium settings and it still looked insane. The gameplay's just really good. Just the platforming challenges are great. You'll come up on like time trials where you're chasing a ghost and then you get a bunch of like currency if you win to do your upgrades or buy new moves. There's so many different environments from like dark, scary area to like a desert to like the forests, and just all the different biomes are really good. The fact that it has really good bosses, I think, really added it to me, where I just really enjoyed fighting them. And like the final chunk of that game is stupendous. I considered putting it even higher, but it just this year was so particularly strong that I held back a bit. But I just, it's just so fantastic. I cannot believe how good it is, and it's just. I think it's just criminally underlooked, and just I will continue fighting for it to maybe breach a wall, because just I don't really have much of a bad thing to say about it, except some parts are just hard. It's like a couple times I'm like, damn it, because there's a lot of escape sequence moments in the game that punctuate some of the bigger like boss lead ups, and sometimes you fight a boss and midway through they start an escape sequence. And then they move on to the next phase. And that stuff can be challenging, but also really fun. Then there's just so much variety into your character, different skills, different upgrade paths, side quests. You go back to talk to people, get things done. Wonderful.
Yeah, I really wish I got to play it. I really wish I did.
It gave me the same like enjoyment that I got out of like a Celeste with some of those platforming challenges. And just some rewarding stuff when it comes to completing platforming challenges of you're jumping, you can grapple onto a thing to get closer, you do your dash, you eventually get like a super additional dash, and then you can target projectiles you're about to run into, and if you hit the button, you'll then float and then choose a direction to shoot off using it as like a springboard. And then the game teaches you, if you springboard, it's going to shoot the projectile in an opposite direction. Maybe have that hit an enemy or hit a hidden wall. And then they do a lot of really good puzzle stuff in this game that just makes you really think about the environment and how you can maybe take that projectile like a mile away, potentially, doing some wacky stuff with it.
Okay. So it took me 3 hours, but I remembered my other runner-up and feel.
Yeah.
Let me know how you feel about this as number 10. I wrote in bug snacks.
I question the fact of you throwing a game after we've gotten past that segment.
I don't know. That's a pretty strong move.
Yeah, but it wasn't a very strong game since we have not heard bug snacks mentioned until this very moment.
I had to go search through my documents to see what all the runners up were.
Well, much like bug snacks, the last 30 minutes of our Game of the Year thing takes on a different tone.
Yes.
Let me be clear, everyone. Okay. If Friends of Mineral Town didn't ship, that should have hit. That should have hit my top 10. That would have been my 10.
The end of bug snacks is great, and then the end is so ludicrously strong. I you know what? I can't oppose this.
I really can't either. I only played a little bit, but I watched Dan play a good chunk, and I was like, oh man, this is pretty good stuff. Really good characters. Insane bug snacks say their own name, which is amazing.
Bug Snacks is a really delightful game. The actual caching mechanics can be super fun and hilarious in the way you pull them off. And I think aesthetically, when it comes to the environments, the denizens, and the music, it has some really good vibes. And the ending is horrifying. So it has everything
in a good way
on that front. In a good way. In a very intentional way. I don't know that Eric would describe it as good.
I was really impressed by how far they took that ending.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, so what? And it's like, no, you don't.
Nothing will top. Move over, I'm getting it.
Oh, God.
Okay. Okay, we're good. It's fine.
It's bug sex, so it really isn't fine.
Look, a win's a win.
Look, I was okay with deleting all the others. I honestly might be more okay with Here's my problem, okay? And this is legitimately, it's problematic to me in this moment.
What?
Call of Duty's on this list, and I'm like, Call of Duty shouldn't be beating up bug snacks.
I didn't. Okay, let me explain my reasoning here about Call of Duty.
Sure.
I didn't even think about touching it because two of you have it on your list. Where I'm like, I'm not gonna shoot it. It's like I was fine shooting Ghost, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you immediately opened with attempting to shoot it in some fashion. But I was like, you guys like Call of Duty? I'm not gonna take that away from you. And it's a Call of Duty hitting a top 10 list. That seems like some sort of miracle. I guess I shouldn't be mean
and
to
that's where the problematic angle is. Like, it's sitting there, and I'm not saying it's undeserved. It's just like fucking unreal for me to look at a list and go, fucking Call of Duty.
I'm okay with it going down to 10, but I really am not okay with it leaving the list. Adler is too much of a Chad.
Yeah, no, that game's too stunning and fun and hilarious to drop off the list for sure.
See, I'm fine with it being on the list and any list at all because you mentioned it before. Bug Snacks, you did not.
But Bug Snacks is really interesting. More so than I think.
But not interesting enough for Dan's top 10. He said it would have hit top 10 if it wasn't for Friends of Mineral Town, but it should have been in the fucking honorable mentions. It wasn't even there.
Yeah, because I forgot, but at the end of the day, like we're having this conversation now, right? Would it make you feel better if I go to the other end of the spreadsheet, delete Friends of Mineral Town, put Bug Snacks on there and go, okay, no one talks about Harvest Moon. Like I came to you admitting that I forgot to bring this up in my honorable mentions. And that legitimately is a problem. Like I forgot.
All right, that's fine. I was just like, oh god, this is gonna open the floodgates, or we're just gonna have magic games just start continuing to appear.
No, I looked at everything else. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Like I looked at that document. There's no way Miles Morales is. But yeah, I don't know. Like I don't have a problem with Call of Duty and where it's sitting. It's really weird to look at a top 10 list and see Call of Duty is all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
Like it's a fucking factory made franchise.
Yes.
And it's usually just par or sort of good. But I think this year's was excellent.
yeah. And you talk about the character in the campaigns a lot, and no one ever does.
Which is weird as shit to me. Whatever. I don't.
Just get Adler in the Modern Warfare series so it can be all good campaign and have Adler.
I mean, that is the goal, right? But Bob, then how would you get Mason and Woods talking shit at each other like idiots?
That's true. That was surprisingly great.
It was surprisingly great. I honestly, Mason and Woods show up. I sigh. I go, great. I'm gonna have to deal with these two fuckos. But by the end of that game, I'm like, okay, they're hilarious. I really enjoy their dynamic. But anyways, that's none of this is the point. So here's this list to me, right? I can't move Nioh 2 at all. I don't have the power. I didn't play that fucking game. And I have, like, it looks so much more polished than 1, right? It's clearly a much better game than 1.
It's clearly running better even on PS4 Pro.
Yeah. So I can't move that. I can't do anything with that. I feel a little powerless there. Is everyone literally okay with all of this list but number 10? Is that the... Because elsewise, I feel pretty comfortable about the overall order.
I'm fine with it as it is, but I'm going to argue about the top 3 once we're done with the bottom 7.
Yes, we need to worry about the bottom 7. The top 3 can move in a moment because I think we nailed that.
Yeah.
Casey's so pissed.
I'm like, I just want to have it break the wall, and I can't think of any method here for it to work.
Okay, how about this? If I play Ori and the Will of the Wisps in the new year,
Uh-huh.
and I legitimately think it's better than Bug Snacks, we can do a segment on next game of the year where we say top 10 or
We
biggest
got
mistake.
it wrong.
Yes, exactly. Because I'm reticent to believe I'll like that game, just because I too have seen a chunk of the first one. But I really did want to give it a try. But my Xbox,
I can't at all speak to the first one. It's just what I played here was just so delightful, like in every area. That showed just so much heart. Just expertly directed in like all of its scenes, all the great stuff in it. It's just, I feel like it should hit 10.
What's up, Bob?
I feel bad that I feel so strongly that it shouldn't be on the list just from the first hour of play. But
yeah, I hate that energy where Bob's like, I played it for an hour and just quit.
Well, he quit because he hated it.
Right, because it upset me and I didn't want to play anymore. Like, it wasn't I should just keep going through this
I'm
pain.
trying to think of the first hour and I'm like, what offensive thing does this game do in its first hour?
I think the Metroidvania that opens with a walk and talk just blew my mind and I was like, okay, I'm basically checking out.
Oh, well, I started that and I'm like, they're introducing a story. I'd like to see what it is. It's not like Mega Man Zero where there's like 8 tons of dialogue in it.
Could you imagine?
No, they revealed 3 more sick little sisters.
God damn.
I mean, it started as a sick little owl friend. I could get in some of that energy.
Yeah, it's a little intro. Her little wing's a little fucked up, and then after the intro, you get separated from her. It's like, all right, get back to it. And it's not like, oh, you gotta collect all the things to help the cyber virus. There's like so little story and dialogue in that. They just put a little in the intro to make you actually give a shit about what's happening. And it's mostly like through like visual storytelling, because like the main character doesn't talk. He just kind of like looks around, does a little different facial stuff. But then you jump into the game and then you're just playing. And then you're getting like upgrades and different weapon types and upgrading those and picking up health and magic extensions.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's been a slight clerical error.
What's up?
Friends of Mineral Town is clearly a remake. And remakes are not eligible. Ergo, Bugsnax is my number 10.
Clubhouse Games is a remake of a variety of sports games and book games.
That's not true. I've never seen a board game called Yacht.
You know, you're right. Never mind. I rescind my statement. I don't know why I'm trying to change your top 10. I'm like, man, I like Friends of Mineral Town being in there. Get Clubhouse out of there.
Honestly, if this year wasn't so competitive, because I know we're not gonna like we had the conversation like a month and a half ago of like remake versions don't count, and I was like, okay, there goes Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. That would just waste a slot on my list if I even shoved it in there, which is debatable whether or not we allow that.
If this year wasn't, so stacked, maybe I'd consider putting in like a remaster version of something. And if I did, maybe it'd be Xenoblade. Yeah, I think or Devil May Cry. Those would be the only two.
Yeah, I think.
Unless it was like a really bad year, like there'd have to be like 6 strong ones instead of like 15 strong ones for me to go. I guess Persona 5, because there are an insane amount of improvements to that game.
Yeah.
To where I'd argue the main gameplay of the original's bad now because of how many things they added to that.
Yeah, I felt really strongly about Friends of Mineral Town.
Yeah. When you talked about it, you were filled with, just good vibes.
Yeah, no, that game's delightful. It's really great.
You're like, I love this. I have no time to play it. And you only talked about it for one episode of Big Thing.
That's true. I did play it past that, but not enough to.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I got turnips. Oh, that's cool, Dan. Yeah, I sold the turnips. This is really good. I have money.
Yeah, that's why I only talked about like Hades during one Big Thing. But I kept chipping away at it.
Okay, so I know KZ wants the 10th place for Ori. Unfortunately, KZ's the only one who put a ton of time into that. Bob put time into it and didn't like it. I assume you put no time into it, just like me.
No.
Okay.
'Cause I was thinking maybe I'll get a Series X and play it in 120 frames a second. Then Dan got a Series X, and then I went, oh, I guess I better not.
All right. If since Bob feels strongly against it based on the 1 hour and no one else played it and apprehension, I am willing to not fight for it, predicated on the fact that Bugsnax does not get number 10 and it can go to Streets of Rage 4.
I'm rubbing my chin. You can't see it right now, but I'm rubbing my chin.
Well, I have no feelings on Streets of Rage 4, but many on Bugsnax.
Would you like to express those feelings?
That is...
Bugsnax is good in case he's irrational. He's mad because he feels bamboozled.
Bugsnax seems alright from what I played. I've looked at Streets of Rage 4, and as someone who doesn't give a shit about beat-em-ups, I want to play that.
Yeah, fine. Give it to Streets of Rage 4. I don't care.
Eventually it'll break down to, this is about
like,
10th place. Who cares?
Yeah. I'm like, if I can't get Ori into the top 10 based on horrible behavior, The Street Fighter 4 can take it.
Maybe I'll play more of it sometime. Maybe.
If my fucking Xbox will goddamn work, I swear to God, I'm going to give a decent amount of time to that game. Hell, I played Hades for 7 hours. I didn't enjoy it, but I did it. Like, why wouldn't I give an appropriate amount of time to Ori?
Like,
it's so frustrating. I'm literally nauseous thinking about how mad I am.
I thought about like if a spoiler cast would exist, which there's almost no need for that game unless you wanted to really dig into the gameplay stuff, because there is a bunch. I struggled to go. I guess it's a 9. Like that's how high up I had on that. The only problems I had was just a couple of minor like stutters from lag, but that's probably me because I cranked it up to like medium high at 4K.
Yeah, that's pretty intense for your GPU.
Yeah. The exchange was that game looks nuts.
I'm so pissed. I'm so pissed. I got over the Microsoft stuff until just now. I'm just this pissed again.
Yeah.
Because this was the plan.
It's crazy. It feels like an anti-Microsoft thing also. Because, I don't know. This may seem mean. I look at some of the games they put out, and it's just like murder, kill, shooty game, really generic looking survival, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids game, crimes against humanity that are unfunny like Battletoads, and this is game with distinct, beautiful art style, amazing soundtrack, and just it feels closer to like something that Nintendo or Sony would be bankrolling.
Yes,
not Microsoft.
It definitely feels closer to that. And like, I don't think anyone can sit there and say Ori isn't the best game Microsoft turned out this year unless they're insanely into flight simulators and don't have a bandwidth cap.
Oh God, right? That game.
I think the only thing Microsoft first party or like their exclusives that beats it is Cuphead. This gen for me.
It's not even an exclusive anymore.
Oh yeah, you're right. Then this is number 1 then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Microsoft owns Ori. They don't own Cuphead.
Yeah, you're right. They do own Ori. Like I like Killer Instinct and stuff, but they gave that the budget of an arcade game.
Man,
and I like this type of game more than a fighting game.
It's fucked up that I can't trade anything else on this list. Because Bob will kill me if I try to move COD. And also, I will feel
I
like
don't agree about moving COD. If anything, I feel like
Right.
Adler should put it above Nioh. I took the Adler pill.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I know. This podcast series was making COD invincible from being kicked off the top 10.
Right.
Because Adler is hilarious.
And that's fair. That game plays pretty high on my list, in my opinion. You know, it's obviously not 10th. But it's just... yeah, I don't know.
I didn't even expect it to hit my list.
So
I didn't expect it at all. I picked it straight up to just throw Microsoft a bone, and every time I see like a thread of someone's like, this is a hidden gem, and I'm like, is it? I don't know. And then I clicked it and I went, oh my God. I don't normally play games in 11 and a half hour sittings alone.
Let's hear from Bob and Feel. Given the 3 choices of Bugsnax, Streets of Rage 4, and Ori, which one would you go with, Bob? This is, in case you didn't notice from omission, I just gave up on Dreams.
Right.
Oh, fuck me.
Oh no.
Both Bugsnax and Streets of Rage are really strong.
Okay.
Personally, I like Streets more, but I totally get Bugsnax. So I'd be fine with either one. So I will concede my time to Feel to see what he thinks.
Okay, Feel.
Streets of Rage seems incredible. I think Bugsnax, if it would go anywhere, it would be 10. But I'm not sure I'm in love with the rest, everything that isn't the ending, enough for it to place. but at the same time that I feel like it's like, oh, I only like the ending, but the ending wouldn't be as effective if it wasn't for all the stuff before it.
Right. I genuinely, like, I know Aggro described the game as 2 separate games that were stitched together, which I found insane, but funny as hell as a description.
It does become an entirely different game in the last 30 minutes, even mechanically.
Yes, it does, and that part's fucking hilarious.
I'm gonna put my weight behind Streets of Rage 4 because it's a feel-good revival story.
Yeah, it's Sega actually coming back and doing something really immaculate, like Sonic Mania again. Hopefully they don't screw these guys.
You know, the good thing about this over Sonic Mania, because Sonic Mania is great, just to be clear, I own t-shirts, I have a poster, it's really great, it's got tails on it.
Of course.
And a tiger poster.
Tiger poster?
Wait, no, that's Zoo Books, I'm sorry.
This...
You ever get Zoo Books?
No. This...
Oh.
Wait, maybe. This...
I did.
Yes! Now we're getting somewhere.
Streets of Rage 4 does have a completely unique art style to it.
Yeah, there's
Like,
no
it's
reused
not-
levels.
No
period.
reused assets, no homages, no reused levels, no nothing.
Yeah, I can see people getting nervous too when they're like, we're bringing it back and it looks like a Flash art style. And then it turns out it was super dope.
And it turns out, oh no, they just drew the sprites, which is a thing you can do. I feel like we should have moved past it looks like Flash a decade ago.
Yeah.
I didn't even hear they used to refer to this because that seems crazy. I usually only say that when, motion tweening happens.
Yeah, which...
Yeah, I saw so much of that.
No, there's a subset of people who are stupid who say it about any strong sprites like they say it about Skullgirls.
Oh.
God, he's right. I've seen that. I saw that with Indivisible.
Yeah, that's terrible. Wow.
People are
Where
really
they're like,
desperate.
why is the Kickstarter asking that much for a Flash thing? People made that for free on Newgrounds.
Yeah, they made Indivisible for free, you fucking morons.
Yeah, I know. It's
So yeah, I like, for me, the number one skepticism when it came to Streets of Rage 4 is that I thought it wouldn't feel good, which isn't that hard to assume because one doesn't feel that good, and many beat 'em ups that are modern don't feel as snappy as retro.
Like Battletoads, the worst feeling beat 'em up of all time.
Oh, is that a beat 'em up?
Allegedly.
The first 20% of it is.
I think that game came out and executed really well. I'd be okay with it taking 10th place. I feel stronger about it than Bugsnax.
Then let's push it over to 10th because that's what I said I was fine with.
I'm just making sure everyone's on the same page.
Yeah.
Before we do it.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, bye Bugsnax.
It was a good run.
It was a good run. It was a come from behind home run that somehow got a foul ball.
I literally realized that I went through the exact same thing with Bob that Bob went to. I played a little bit of Bugsnax and went, no, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
like I was going through and I started catching a few things and I'm like, yeah, I don't really give a shit.
That's fair. I definitely don't expect that game to click with everyone. I really enjoyed using the traps in different incredibly... Eventually, shit just goes insane with how stupidly you're catching these things. You're like, I need to cripple the ice one, so I'm going to lure it close to this lava pit that has a fire bug snack in it, and I'm going to launch this flaming hot Dorito that's literally on fire at this icicle in order to give it paralysis so I can catch it properly. It gets really dumb and fun in that sort of ways. But back to the list. Okay, looking at this now, running down number 4 to number 10, it goes Astro's Playroom, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, Nioh 2, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and Streets of Rage 4. Is there anything about that people think needs shifting?
I think Nioh 2 should beat out Tony Hawk.
How do you feel on this, Bob?
That's what my list says too. I kind of agree with it. Just because there's Tony Hawk has problems that hold it back for sure. Like things that majorly disappointed us. And the only thing that majorly disappointed me was Nioh 2 was the story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
I think that's a large part of the stink with that game.
just yeah, there's so many they're just chunks of Tony Hawk that I'm like, I don't really want to be here engaging with it, and it's like main campaign. But Nioh 2, just so many bosses. The music really goes in on some of those where you just really just get into the zone with it. And so many bosses just felt fresh and unique. And the new systems they added into it just really worked to like refining that game in a way I did not expect.
Yeah, throwing in those Art of Sorrow elements helps it a lot.
Yes, it's just so good. And the satisfaction of just like, you have a meter in that game, your devil trigger meter almost, where it's the resource that you throw different yokai powers that are like that Aria of Sorrow stuff. And your like transformation. And then you like kill an enemy and it drops one of them. And you get it, and your whole meter comes back. And then you go, this saved my life. And this is just a game that executes on everything a Souls game tries to do, but from a place called Good Action Games.
Oh, it doesn't have the man-eaters. How good can it be?
I mean,
It's got a house.
I was going to ask you this question, Phil. Now, God knows I've only watched other people play Nioh 2, but do you know if Nioh 2 has Superman by Goldfinger?
Oh, no.
No, I don't think it does. It's a really crippling fault. Unfortunately, I don't think it's as crippling a fault as all the shit in Tony Hawk 1+2 when it shipped.
Yeah, that original shipment did have some problems. We've been over.
I feel like a game improving from when it shipped should be acknowledged, but at the same time not forgiven.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
So I would be okay with those two swapping places.
Okay, it sounds like everyone's okay with that.
Yeah.
I will tolerate it then. I will tolerate it. That's fine. I can deal with that. Tsushima got off the list. Streets of Rage 4 got on.
So that means that we move Call of Duty above all of these to number 1.
If you want to make Call of Duty number 7 and just move.
Here's my argument. Number one, switch Tony Hawk and Nioh 2 so that they're accurate. After I see that, I need to like look at it because I had a really crackheaded idea. I'm looking at this. Now, I told you that I didn't care about Final Fantasy VII moving. I am only fine with it moving if you put Call of Duty at number 4 and everything just below it goes down.
Oh my god. We really don't need to do that for Call of Duty. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that would be funny just to make people shit themselves.
I was gonna say put Call of Duty at number 7 and move Nioh 2 and Tony Hawk down.
I think that's a sane move.
Yeah, that's a sane move.
I can't go with that. Just even on how good descriptions those are, I can't do that.
I'm fine with it sitting where it is. I think that it's okay.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
that
okay.
everything's set.
I'm okay with it.
In terms of if we want to talk about states in which it came out, it sounds like Cold War came out real nice. I feel like you could put it above Tony Hawk at least.
Let me check my list. No, I couldn't.
Oh, look at that! They're right next to each other on your list, but in a way that they cannot move now.
I'm gonna be honest though; those two are really close in how much I enjoyed them. So I'm flexible, but
I think Tony Hawk gave us hope for the future of that, whereas last year we got hope for Call of Duty.
That's true.
So it's just like, oh, more of this. It's good.
Yeah, this has like some like miracle magic in it. Or it's like it didn't hit my list, but it's still it's the first Tony Hawk game I've been able to tolerate in a very long time.
I'm gonna throw this out there for people. I'm the only person in this committee who had 4 games he liked not even placed in the top 10.
Oh yeah, I'm fine with it now.
I'm murdered. I've been stabbed to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I only had 3.
Yeah, I went to check because I'm like, wait, is that true? Oh. Oh, well. That's fine.
At least we got Astro's really
I
high.
should have put Demon Souls Remake in my top 10 so we could kill it.
Oh since we pushed Ghost of Tsushima out, I do have 4 that weren't in the top 10.
Oh, that's true. Tsushima just hung in the top 10 for most of the time, and I'm like, it needs to go. Okay.
When I put Ghost of Tsushima at 9, I'm like, I don't think this is gonna survive. I felt it.
Yeah.
Like before we met.
Yeah. Let me tell you, Ghost of Tsushima was at one point my number 10. So was Friends of Mineral Town.
What's funny is I'm putting Astro at 10. Some part of my damaged brain makes me think it'll hit top 5.
So
Turns out that damaged brain is prescient.
let me be frank. I put Friends of Mineral Town at 10 because I was afraid that it would get thrown out under the technicality that it's sort of a remake. And by soda, I mean extremely. But then when no one did that, I'm like, oh, only I have the knowledge.
I mean, I had the knowledge.
Oh no,
like,
I knew it was a remake.
fine.
We just did that one time because we just, there was like tough competition and we were going through that.
And
But
it's like
It's a
I have no problem having a straight remake just hit our top 10 if people feel strongly about the game.
I mean, technically, Tony Hawk is that, so...
right. It's remake was all new graphics, so it's not like a remake they didn't try on at the same level as like Demon's Souls.
And honestly, there are a shitload of quality of life improvements where I'm never going to touch the PS1 version ever fucking again.
RE2 only happened because people felt strongly about wanting to represent a smaller thing.
Yeah.
And getting something else in. It's like, everyone agrees. But I don't know if I'll agree again in that way. Or whatever game would apply.
I'm losing it. This is... I'm okay.
Comfortable with 4 through 10 right now, by the way.
Bob,
I'm also comfortable with that and I'm willing to move on to 1 through 3.
feel.
It's time for the Blood War.
The Blood War, we're all like, yeah, 13 Sentinels, sure.
Don't spoil it, Bob. Okay, so everyone's fine with 4 through 10. I can live with this list for sure. Absolutely, no complaints.
All right.
Yeah.
This is really fun. This is really funny because I'm thinking about how to phrase this sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. If I was to pick my number 1 of our conglomerate, it would be Doom.
Okay.
And then 13 Sentinels, I'm fine, of course, at number 2. And Resident Evil 3 at number 3. What's everyone else feeling?
13 Sentinels should be higher.
So, feels like 13 Sentinels should get Game of the Year, or it should be number 1.
That is correct.
Bob.
I'm for some reason I'm like, yeah, Resident Evil or 13 Sentinels, even though it's not even how it's represented on my list.
One moment, let me go look at your fucking list.
Resident Evil 3, Doom Eternal, and then 13 Sentinels. That's the only reason I straight up fucking even felt comfortable talking, because I was like, am I just gonna walk into punches?
I'd be fine
Like
with
I'm a
any of these
fucking
being
JoJo villain?
I would be fine with any of these making it to number 1. Honestly, they're all great games. They're all great for their own reasons.
I mean, 2 of them literally tied.
Yeah.
Yes.
God.
Yeah, that's how close this is. This is not an easy year.
And I know that I'm the only one who had Resident Evil 3 that high. It should probably just be 3rd because I'm the only one who feels that strongly about it.
I mean, I gave it 2nd.
I like
So,
it a
now
lot,
that-
but I can't put it above either of the other 2.
Yeah, I can't put it above these 2. They are exemplary games.
Okay. So, how about this? Okay. What if we went with feels 13 Sentinels, Doom Eternal, Resident Evil 3? How do people feel about that in general?
There's 13 Sentinel story is stupendous. I love it. I adore it and its ambition, all the things it's doing. It's crazy. I like its combat and its gameplay, but I feel like as a full package, I feel like Doom Eternal does a better job doing everything consistently right. Where there's not like one part that I feel like dips for me personally.
Man, Casey,
Soundtrack.
getting that cat to come to you really pissed you off, huh? I can't tell you how many times I've seen people in the Discord be like, this fucking cat won't get close to her. How am I supposed to get her to fucking get the cat?
L.
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah. When you're out there on the street with your friends eating the food. And yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I was so confused because I did that one so late, and there's almost nothing else in the game like that.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, spoilers. I did not do that character until like the last 3.
Me too. I also saved her for real.
So that confused me in the same way that it was Hijiyama crawling to pick up change. But I don't think that's a super low. I just think that as a full package game, Doom Eternal is firing on all cylinders on all aspects, and I feel like 13 Sentinels does fall short on its gameplay in some ways, both presentation and just in general.
Okay, so to you, KZ, this list should look like what?
Doom Eternal, 13 Sentinels, Resident Evil 3.
So you're fine the way it is. Bob?
This is really tough because that's the order it's currently at. The Doom Eternal, 13 Sentinels. That would be the way it is on my list. But at the same time, like, I'm going to be thinking about things in 13 Sentinels probably for years to come.
Yeah, that's part of why I'm arguing in favor of it being Game of the Year, because there's so many things like, I'm going to think about these characters forever.
Yeah.
Like best animal to pet.
It's going to be like in the sense of where you still see people babbling about Persona 4 characters 13 years later.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's going to be that level of, yeah, people are just going to bring up these characters constantly because there's like 15 of them and they're all really well executed.
Yeah, I also feel that way about 13 Sentinels, and to go a step further almost, I truly think it's an outstanding piece of work that's unrivaled. There really isn't a whole lot that's firing at the same level as it, both in having its own unique concepts for gameplay and the insane writing and structure of it. I think this game is pretty unlike anything else in that way. And I you know me, like, I spent most this year just not even trying it. Like, yeah. I came into this just expecting, I bought this to support my boys at Vanillaware.
Right.
Like, I'm not.
Yes, this game was very much the punching bag of our podcasts, like, up until like 2 months before it came out. Actually, I think up until it came out.
I don't even like visual novels typically.
Yeah.
And this, it's so well done that it's hard to argue with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my thing, where, I'm okay with Resident Evil taking third if I could get 13 Sentinels at first. Like, 13 Sentinels is really some incredible shit. And I did not expect that, and I don't expect it to happen again, possibly ever.
Yeah.
Whereas I could absolutely see them making yet another really sleek Doom package. And Doom Eternal built on it's like, let me put it this way. This will translate to Vanillaware stands and no one else. Dragon's Crown is a really incredible game. It's my favorite Vanillaware game. I don't think any of their other games held a candle to it until now. I think 13 Sentinels is really special. And if this were, say, a year where a Dragon's Crown 2 came out, there is a possibility that 13 Sentinels would just floor me more because it's so unique in what it's doing. I do think this places above Doom Eternal, which I reflected in my own list. And I'm totally fine. Like, I feel stronger about that getting first than I do Resident Evil 3 even getting second. That's how I feel. Even though, as I said, I think Resident Evil 3 is the fucking bar for a third-person shooter feel now.
Yeah, you knocked me on my ass when you like, this is the future.
I think it should be. Hopefully it will be. I'm so looking forward to that Resident Evil 4 remake. Holy shit.
Yeah. Either going to be a 10 or a 0.
Oh boy.
They took out the giant robot. It's 0.
They took out that guy who shows up and you're like, I'm taking you out for drinks, and then he explodes.
On like the subject of like, they make another, there won't be another one like this in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You just make me sad because I'm like, there will never be another Doom Eternal.
That's true. The soundtrack is definitely not going to hit at that level ever again.
Yeah. Because I played the DLC, it does not. I don't remember a single thing in it. I can remember like maybe 8 songs.
Yeah.
In like the main thing, and I don't pay as much attention to it in like a shooter, honestly. But some of that stuff in Doom Eternal is just so good, and it elevates it. However, people feel so strongly, and the arguments are good for 13 Sentinels. I am willing to put Doom Eternal at 2. I'm willing to approach that conversation.
I'm perfectly copacetic with that.
That sounds good to me.
It's 13 Sentinels, Doom Eternal, and Resident Evil 3. How do you feel about that feel?
That's what I wanted, so I'm happy with it.
Because despite 13 Sentinels being in at number 4, it's this is one of my favorite years in gaming. I consider my top 4 10s. I fuck with everything so hard that it was really splitting hairs between all of them.
Yeah,
but I'm fine with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm fine with that. It sounds like everyone's okay with that. Or glowing happy about that, like, feel.
I think this is a fucking win. This is the type of game made for me. I love visual novel style games that are like this. Like, I found myself really enjoying these types of games, and this looks stupid good.
I think I know we've said plenty about it, but I think the characterization in it, how well defined and likable all these characters are. If they're not likable, they're really interesting. Like, those are the 2 different types of characters, right? I think they have such a great cast here, and I did not expect that. I expected one of the stories or several of the stories to have somebody that just didn't work. And even Ogata works.
He pulls the short straw, but it's great.
Yeah, unfortunately, he pulled the short straw in his story.
I love his scenario about that loop a lot.
Really? We need to watch the movie it's based on.
Yeah, I was like, there has to be just one specific thing.
Yeah, I forgot the name, but it's literally a film.
Yeah, do you want to watch Source Code?
Source Code, thank you. I was like, I think it's Source Code.
I watched that in theaters. I think that had Jake Gyllenhaal in it.
Oh, cool. Sure. Let's watch that and then do the 13 Sentinels Nenji Ogata story versus Source Code spoiler cast.
Oh man, Source Code's doomed.
Well, yeah,
that movie came out 10 years ago.
Yeah, of course it's doomed. It's half the length.
God. But I think 13 Sentinels takes strides in its presentation and attempts to make a world feel alive, where you'll have those moments of, a character having to walk around a little bit because they're thinking about something. They have to think about something multiple times. There's new dialogue on certain thoughts in your thought cloud, where it's like, oh, this character has a crush on this one. So if you keep thinking about it, their feelings like change a little bit, where they're like, oh man, I'm really feeling it.
Yeah, they ruminate and develop more thoughts as you keep mashing the same one on some of the things, and it's really good.
Yeah, because it's like you advanced a screen and time has passed, so they're still thinking about it, and the thing, like the feelings have changed. The way characters will leave in a scene, so some of the stuff is like time-based, but also the natural thing of them talking to other people, and the conversation still happens, so you can still kind of hear it, so it makes it like a more natural, real-life thing, instead of everyone just being dolls that do nothing because they are not being engaged with by the player. Like anything else. Like, they clearly put a lot of thought into that.
A ton. Yeah, absolutely. So everyone's good with this entire list in the way it is.
Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Did you want to move something, KZ?
Yeah, Call of Duty. It should go. It should go at number 8.
I'm gonna refer to my list. No, apparently it shouldn't. Bob,
You're like, no, I'm tired. I'm tired of you ruining my life.
Bob, do you have any thoughts on that? Should Call of Duty go to an 8?
I guess not.
Guess not.
Like,
Yes.
I understand the argument for both, but like I said, Tony Hawk has that feel-good story of it's back.
Yes, I know. I just like Dan's reaction. It's really fun.
Call of Duty already got all its buffs from our best companion of the year.
Yes.
You're right. All right. Erase those last 2 losers.
Yeah, they're in the losers
Shoot
column.
me and you, Dan.
It hurts, Casey. It hurts.
There's no winners in the
sure
bottom
does.
10.
We can't have a top 20. That's disgusting.
Oh man, come on, man.
Yeah, that would actually ruin our lives. So yes, it's better if we not don't.
Yeah, that's correct.
It's okay. We haven't been recording for 4 hours yet.
Yeah,
It's fine. It's fine. Like 30 minutes of that was not going to be included.
Okay. I'm looking at all the losers down here. I'm just gonna read them off real quick, okay? Because I
Okay.
feel bad for them.
Yeah.
In no particular order. Ghost of Tsushima, Genshin Impact, Trails of Cold Steel 4, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Dreams, Yakuza Like a Dragon, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Clubhouse Games, Friends of Mineral Town, and Bugsnax. Oh, God.
Shed a tear.
I feel so bad that all of those are purple.
So what's the over/under? Aggro listening to this and threatening me over Bugsnax.
I don't know.
I wanted to wait a decent amount of time to give him the opportunity to pause and not hear me just to see if he actually did it. And then goes, "Oh damn."
He might agree.
Hopefully he'll hear this the moment he was writing it.
Fucking aggro is going to be like, Astro should have been first. Anyway, this big thing to mention, Game of the Year 2020 is 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, go play it, people. Followed by Doom Eternal in second, Resident Evil 3 in third, Astro's Playroom in fourth, Final Fantasy VII Remake in fifth, Hades in sixth, Nioh 2 in seventh, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 in 8th, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War in 9th, and Streets of Rage 4 in 10th. Woo! I feel pretty good about that list. I think this was a great year for games. I was a little scared during the middle months, when my highlight was Clubhouse Games.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, this shouldn't be taking sweeps for 4 months straight. But then things got really strong at the end to couple with the beginning, and I think we did great.
We have 2 next-gen games.
Do we?
At Call of Duty and Astro.
Technically, Call of Duty's cross-gen.
But it launched on next-gen, unlike all
And
the
it
rest.
is truly amazing on
And it has
next-gen.
all the features.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing on PS5 that Microsoft put out a poll asking people if they want cool controller shit. Anyway.
I'm looking at this and I'm comfortable with it because the top 7 are games on my list.
I have a
I
staggering...
feel like,
Go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, I feel like that works.
Yeah, this is a good list. I can feel good about it.
Sorry, Dan.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I just try to not think of the those we've lost.
Our heroes.
They're in your dreams.
Yeah.
Now go and rest our heroes.
Thank you very much for everyone who stuck with us. Hope you enjoyed this Game of the Year. Go support us on Patreon because, sweet Jesus, this doesn't financially make any level of sense.
No, it does not.
Patreon.com/GB podcast.
Cookie.
I'm hitting stop now.
Yeah, please do.